Philippi when they came under attack in their vehicle yesterday afternoon. Hours later, police apprehended an 18-year-old suspect as he sought medical assistance at a facility in Lentegeur. The police's Novella Potalwa says it's believed the teen was wounded when one of the vehicle occupants allegedly fired a shot in response to the attack. The suspect remains in hospital under police guard. Officers also nabbed a 16-year-old suspect in Browns Farm in the early hours of this morning.
The two suspects face attempted murder and attempted hijacking charges.
Potalwa says initial reports indicate the attack was carried out by 3 male suspects. Lauren Isaacs, Eyewitness News.
3 suspects have been killed in a shootout with Hawks officers in Pretoria. Law enforcement agencies approached a house in Mamelodi East last night after receiving information that a group of people were in possession of illegal guns. Hawks spokesperson Christopher Singo says 4 suspects opened fire at the officers, sparking the shootout.
And 1 suspect fled the scene. The police recovered 1 AR rifle and 2 pistols.
The state is requesting bail to be denied for 3 men accused of killing former IFP Member of Parliament Ketamabala Stole. The Palm Ridge Magistrates Court heard yesterday the bail applications of the trio. They are accused of shooting Stole in May during a ward meeting in Katlehong on the East Rand. The NPA says the 3 men are potential flight risks. Thabiso Goba reports.
In the affidavit submitted to court, the 3 men say they all intend on pleading not guilty. Accused 2 and 3 have told the court they live at the Buyafuti hostel in Katlehong with their wives and children, while accused number 1 says he lives at the Madala hostel in Thokoza, also with his family. While the 3 men hail from KwaZulu-Natal, they all say they have been living at the Ukuruleni hostels for a number of years. However, the investigating officer in the case says he visited their listed addresses and could not find anything that supports that. The matter returns to court on Thursday, where the investigating officer will be cross-examined by the defense lawyer. Thabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
And the inquiry into Truth and Reconciliation Commission cases says it hopes to have victims come forward to suggest how the commission should run its business. Yesterday, retired Constitutional Court Justice Sisi Kampepe and her fellow commissioner gave their first briefing. President Cyril Ramaphosa set up the inquiry to investigate allegations of interference and efforts to stop the prosecution of TRC cases. Over 20 years since the TRC wrapped up, almost all 300 apartheid-era cases referred to the NPA for prosecution have not made progress. Khomoso Modise has more.
Retired Constitutional Court Justice Sisi Kampepe says the inquiry into the Truth and Reconciliation Commission is tasked with uncovering the facts about the alleged interference that stopped the prosecution of TRC cases.
We are also tasked with making recommendations about what measures should be taken against those that we may find were responsible for impeding the attainment of justice for the victims and their families.
While the commission was promulgated in May and officially started its work this month, it's yet to confirm where its headquarters will be. South Africans have been invited to a pre-meeting hearing, which will be held in the next 3 weeks to determine how the commission should be run. Khomoso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Hector Peterson Museum.
Gold is trading at $3,320.96 an ounce. The rand is at 17.69 to the dollar, 23.87 to the pound, 20.59 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $66.06 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 South between the Baku interchange and Corlett Drive. There's also slow-moving traffic along the N3 North. This is between Van Buren Road and the Gilulis interchange.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Western Cape police say a 3rd person is expected to be arrested in connection with the attack of 3 members of parliament in Philippi.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Show up for the finalist who showed up for you. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Vote for your favorite local business now on primediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Minutes after 9 o'clock. Sanbonani, Dumelang, good morning, Goeiemorgen. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. It's wonderful to have you with us here on 702. I hope you are good this morning. The 702 open line starts now on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. On YouTube, if you're watching and listening to us at the same time on the 702 YouTube page, you can post your comments there. I'll get to them as well. How crazy is the story that EWN was running at the top of the hour? Parliament's Police Portfolio Committee Chairperson Ian Cameron and two other members of Parliament fell victim to crime yesterday while on an oversight visit in Philippi in Cape Town. What we understand is that Cameron and his colleagues were in one car when three unknown men attacked their vehicle with bricks, smashing at least 3 windows. They were reportedly returning from an oversight visit to the police training college in Philippi when they came under attack in that vehicle. 2 people have since been arrested for that attack. But I really think that this is crazy. And if anything, for me, this matter raises concerns about the safety of people whose work requires them to undertake site visits. And I want to hear from you if you are one of those people who are in an industry like this where you've got to be on the ground. Do you ever get concerned about your safety if your work requires you to undertake site visits, sometimes in these dangerous areas? I mean, these are members of Parliament we're talking about. And that's not to say they're immune to crime. I mean, there are people who face what they faced yesterday on a daily basis, different people. That's really the nature of the country we live in and the crime that we are facing every day. But there are many people whose work requires them to undertake site visits. And sometimes those site visits have to happen in dangerous areas. And I don't know, maybe you are a social worker and you have to go into some of these dangerous areas. Maybe as a member of Parliament, you have to do these site visits. Yeah? You do constituency work or you do oversight work. There are police officers who have to go into the most dangerous of areas. Are you a police officer? Are there certain areas that you are concerned about in as far as your safety is concerned as a police officer? How many times have we spoken about emergency services, like ambulances that get people who get mugged, paramedics who get mugged when they are in the ambulances and they are going to some townships around Gauteng? That has reached crisis levels. Sometimes they need security to escort them because otherwise they can't even get to people that are in need of emergency care. Because our society is so quick to find an opportunity to commit crime. City Power has also complained. We've spoken to City Power many times about how their workers are at risk when there's some substation that has exploded or something that needs to be fixed around the electricity system. When they go into those areas, they get mugged. They're not safe. So I can go on and on and on talking about work that requires people to be on site. And I wonder how you've been navigating that. Please share your experiences with us on 011-883-0702. Construction workers as well. You have to work in dangerous areas. Now we even know about the phenomena of the construction mafia. So there are so many sectors that are affected here. City Power. Do you work at City Power? Are you a paramedic? Are you an emergency services officer? Are you a police officer? Are you an MP? What work are you doing that requires you to be on the ground? Requires you to undertake site visits and sometimes in these dangerous areas? What's been your experience and how have you tried to protect yourself? Do you go with security? 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. At 10 o'clock, we are going to do the Healing Hour. So the Healing Hour is our monthly feature. We do it once every month and we dedicate an hour to talk amongst ourselves as the Clement Manyathela Show family. No judgment. This is an opportunity for us to create space for each other, to share our pain, to share our stories of survival. And today on our Healing Hour, we're going to be holding space for some of you that are going through a divorce or going through a breakup. We're holding space for you as our brother, for you as our sister, for you as our father, as our mother, as our aunt, as our friend. If you're going through a breakup that has been painful or a divorce, how are you healing from that? And it may be as fresh as this morning, maybe as fresh as yesterday, 5 days ago, 6 months ago, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is. How are you healing from that divorce? How are you healing from that significant breakup? What happened and how have you been picking up the pieces? If you prefer to send us an email to share your story, you can do so on cm@702.co.za. Otherwise, when we start the Healing Hour at 10 o'clock, you can give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note to share your story. And then at 10 o'clock, that is 10 to 11. And then at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature. And today we're going to be talking about life in the West Bank, that's in Palestine. One of our listeners has asked that we discuss what life is like in the West Bank. And I know there are some of you that have probably wondered what life is like in the West Bank, because we speak a lot about Gaza, because that's where the war is happening. But there's a lot happening in the West Bank that I think would probably interest you. For many Palestinians there, daily experience means navigating checkpoints, you looking at restrictions, economic hardship, while also facing the risks of displacement and violence. There are families that often even struggle to secure the basics like food, education, healthcare. At some point, cultural identity remains strong. That's what would happen, like music, art, family gatherings, farming traditions like the olive harvest continue to bring people together, and at least that offers some sense of continuity in a fractured landscape. And for us as South Africa, the story of the West Bank may feel distant, but I actually think we share similarities of displacement, of inequality, but also of resilience. And we're going to talk to someone who's on the ground in the West Bank for us as we try to understand life in the West Bank in Palestine. And then at 11:30, we're going to do the sharing space. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good morning, Clement, on a beautiful Wednesday. Yeah, Clement, I think when it happens to them, maybe they would open their eyes. I don't know. Maybe it will open their minds to say, we need to work hard to keep the country safe. I mean, how many times have we had videos of Bolt drivers, Uber drivers, driving around in Philippi at gunpoints, cars taken, and me speaking on the side of e-hailing guys. We drive in very dangerous places, whereby we just have to have groups where we send messages so that we can communicate area this and that. Please be careful. Don't go there. Just check where you are, the areas that you are in. We just have to be careful. Sometimes this group helps us, and if you are new, you become a victim. So, AB in Midrand.
Good morning, Clement. I would like to be anonymous. I work with Joburg Water, and sometimes when we are tasked with doing water cut-offs for people who are not paying, we face a lot of security issues there. So we actually have to go accompanied by the JMPD or some security services. Otherwise, our lives are in danger. So yeah, thank you. Great show.
Yeah, that's quite hectic, hey? I mean, Joburg Water, I had not even mentioned that. E-hailing drivers, I had not even mentioned that. But that just tells you of how widespread this concern is. So how do you navigate that then? So the e-hailing chap says they create groups. For you, if you work for Joburg Water, if you are a construction worker, well, maybe as a construction worker, the company that hired you probably organizes security for you. But if you are a member of parliament doing oversight work, if you are a city power technician, if you are a paramedic, that can really, really be difficult work. If you're a police, police, that's where people are looking to you for protection. People look to you for protection. And there's not a lot of thought at who's protecting the police. And we live in a society where crime is so rampant that even the officers themselves, the people that we are supposed to fear, are actually the ones that are under attack. On the WhatsApp line, Miss Nia says, "Hi Clement, I am a technician in electricity delivery. It is so dangerous. Hijacking and laptop thefts are prevalent, especially in areas like Winterveld in Tshwane. Yeah, that's so crazy. Also, I've just thought now, even Uber Eats, there have been cases where it's very dangerous to order Uber Eats delivery. There are cases where Uber Eats will not come and deliver because it's just dangerous in that area. They get mugged. In fact, recently I saw there were two delivery guys who were on one scooter to do a delivery because they probably realizing that this is the best way to do this. At least there's two of us, we can protect each other in some way, as opposed to be you are the only one and it's 9 p.m. in the evening. Yeah, our society, it's not safe at all. Pule, you're calling us from Pretoria. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
I'm okay. Look, normally when I do site inspections, I communicate with our Metro Police Department because previously I've done some site inspection and when I came back, I found my car was shot at. I don't know if it was element of criminality or the frustration from the community that was so traumatic. But based on that, I think a couple of times we had a problem with the community. So going forward, we decided we go as a group, as employees or officials, but we always be accompanied by Metro Police. But at the same time, I always check as well before I go if there's any riots or so. So let me 702 is the best way to know what is happening around areas where I'm gonna go to if there's talk about that. Yeah.
Sure. And what happens,
But
Apule, if the metro officers are not available to come with you? Or is that a standard agreement that they have with the organization you work for?
No, it's not. Currently, with the metropolitan municipality that I work for, I think it's an agreement that we entered into when we go to those critical or dangerous places. But previously, we would just go as officials, and especially if you know that this is not a dangerous place.
Mm-hmm.
But after that incident, that's when we realized that we need to do that at times. Because even, remember, it was around 2012, during that Marikana incident, and I was in Roodepoort. So even my insurance didn't want to cover my car. I had to fight with them for almost 3-4 months and get reports from the nearest police station to say there was no riots there, and because they wanted to link that to Marikana because we're doing mine inspection. Mine dump inspection, yeah. Wow. But yeah, what can you do? So Metro Police is the best way to go with them. But at some time, remember with these Zamazamas, they also fight with the metropolis. So there are certain areas you really can't go at all. I mean, the very same area we once took the deputy minister of MRE back then. And it was quiet. He was interacting with those Zamazamas and the community at large. Maybe it's because they knew that he was coming and they were receptive to him. But with us as officials, they were kind of like saying that we are not taking their complaints serious, hence they took their frustration on us.
Sure, I can only imagine how traumatic that is, Bule. Thank you for sharing that with us, and please be safe out there. Mbija, you are in Soweto. You're a Bolt driver. Good morning. Hi, Korona, le kae?
Awa go tsela ngwana mogala go sa ka wija ya nna mama le fa le fetogile gore bana ba mpa mara re jana ka meno wima gore imagine Orola, you're going to pick up an old lady at home. You want to go and drop him in another mall around Soweto, and then they will tell you just drop her on the gate. Or else the old lady is using the walking stick. These guys are cruel. I don't know what went wrong with our own brothers and sisters. Yeah, it's bad, my brother. And then go talk ya ditapeng.
Wa rapeleng.
Ya wa bona mogala bola geno gore e bele mogala ba mokhuku. E ka re ga boela morago ra sana le bona, ba ba le kola la bohloko le lerato. Then re ka tswela pele.
No.
Ya mona a go sana bophelo ngwana mogala be. Go bima.
Yeah. Yo. Yeah. Mbija in Soweto, thank you so much for that. It's just so frustrating. It's so sad that even the older people are being targeted. And I would imagine, you know how we were raised to respect the elders. And even if you wanted to do something bad, there would be due and extra consideration when it's an elder person that is being affected. That is not even the case anymore. This show, we once went to Soshanguve. When did we go to Soshanguve? 2 years ago. Was it last year? I think early last year, we went to Soshanguve to do this show from there. The whole 3 hours, we dedicated the show on talking about the crisis of crime. We spoke to the community. We invited the community to come. They came. We had a conversation with the community. They told us about, Soshanguve, when the morning we were there, they told us someone has just been murdered, like 500 meters away from where we were, at a petrol station. Someone had just been murdered there that morning. And there were stories. Old women were telling me that we close our gates at 6 p.m. We go to bed at 6 p.m., not because we want to, because we know how vulnerable we are to any attack. We even invited the Deputy National Police Commissioner came. There were some authorities that came to join us, some policing experts. But I just feel like sometimes you begin to lose hope because you're wondering, what are these conversations producing? Because the people who are committing crime, are they listening to us? Do they care about empathy? Do they care about caring for one another? Because until we get to the people who commit crime, we're not going to resolve it. And yes, there's a lot that the police can do, but crime is a societal issue. It's not just going to take the police to strengthen the force and strengthen their policing plans and strategies to fight crime. That is a key element to fighting crime, but that's just not it. It requires a multi-sectoral, multi-pronged approach. And that involves us as a society as well, because the people who are committing these crimes, they come from our homes. They come from our communities. They are our neighbors. They are our cousins. I don't know. It's just so frustrating sometimes. What hurts me the most is that the older generation, by the way, in Soshanguve, these gogos were telling me that when they go to work, they take buses sometimes at 5 a.m. in the morning. And you know what they do? They have gotten to a point where they hire young people to accompany them to the bus station. It may be 200 meters from your house. But they pay young people in the community so that they can walk with them to the bus station so that they can take the bus and go to work. What life is that? What life is that where you have to outsource your security? In the township, the bus stop is 200 meters away from your house or 500 meters from your house. You need young people that you can pay in the morning to protect you as you go to work. You have to lock your gates at 6 p.m. in the evening. You have stopped jogging, especially as a woman in this country, because you know that you are vulnerable to rape. You're vulnerable to some mugging, to be attacked if you are seen as a lone runner. That is not sustainable. And Tabi Singh, you're calling us from the Northwest. You're in the health sector. Good morning.
Hi, Clement.
Hey, Tabi Singh, go ahead.
Yes, I work as a health inspector. It's really dangerous because you can imagine as a woman, you work in the rural areas, you go alone as a health inspector. Unlike the people they were talking to you earlier, saying they are accompanied by the GNPD all the time when they go to the inspection. As an inspector, every time when you go to do your inspection, you have to go alone. You go alone, whether the area is in the rural, it's in the town, you approach all those areas alone. That's how we do our inspections. And you can imagine you are a woman, you go alone, you want to close a shop. Most of the time, like the problem we encounter is when you want to close a premises. That's where most of the fights come. And imagine you go alone, you don't have like protection at the spot. You encounter all these fights. That's when you can call the police. And I don't think we are allowed to say, I'm going to work. Can I go past by the police station so that they accompany me? You can only call the police when there's a problem. And imagine if like something happens to you before you can call the police. But apparently as health inspectors, Clement, there's nothing you can do. That's how we work. And we work in like my friend, so Pick and Pay, and we show compliances, and most people don't want to comply. So it's dangerous. You have to fight people all the time. You don't have that protection, and for them to comply is an issue, and it imposes danger even to you as a health inspector. But work is work.
In some of the areas you guys go to as health inspectors, and I'll be saying it's not so easy. There's no police visibility. So yes, police on speed dial, but the police are overstretched themselves. How long is it going to take them to come over to you, to come and assist you? Hey, it's 9:30. Swiso, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Parliament has condemned the attack on 3 DA MPs in Philippi. Police Committee Chairperson Ian Cameron and NCOP member Nicholas Khotsal both sustained injuries during an attempted hijacking yesterday. MP Lisa Shrikrol was also in the vehicle at the time of the attack. They were returning from an oversight visit to the police training college in Philippi when they came under attack in their vehicle. Deputy Minister in the Presidency for Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation is expected to lead an oversight visit to Mthatha to assess government's progress in responding to the deadly June floods. The disaster killed at least 103 people, including children, and left at least 4,000 homeless across the Eastern Cape. And the inquiry into Truth and Reconciliation Commission cases says it hopes to have victims come forward to suggest how the Commission should run its business. Yesterday, retired Constitutional Court Justice Sisi Gampepe and her fellow commissioners gave their first briefing. President Cyril Ramaphosa set up the inquiry to investigate allegations of interference and efforts to stop the prosecution of TRC cases. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling on the Mike 1 South, we've got delays between Grayston Drive and Corlett Drive. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic in Devlin along the Golden Highway, and that's between the N1 and Union Avenue, and that's due to the roadworks that are taking place along this route. I'm being told also the issue of faulty traffic lights. They're in fact flashing red right at Union Street, and this is the reason why we have more delays along this route every single day. While traveling towards Amalgam, delays on the M2 West between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. I'll have more traffic updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
Hi, this is Craig from Kempton Park. What an amazing experience, I must say, especially visiting, people behind the scenes. There's a lot of amazing people that we don't know about behind the scenes that's working very hard to serve you, the listener. Very, very impressed with everything that's going on. Fantastic studios, very professional setup, trendy, vibey. It epitomizes everything that this radio station does, and definitely it is the radio station for the people.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
Hi everyone, I'm Dean McPherson, the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure. Since I was appointed just over a year ago, we've laid a firm foundation in the department, and after tabling our 7.6 billion rand budget for growth, we're now turning plans into action. That means that we're moving government departments into our own state-owned buildings to save you billions of rands in rent. We're unlocking public land to build affordable housing, create shelters for victims of gender-based violence, and to boost food production. We're also tackling corruption head-on without fear or favor. And we're giving young South Africans real opportunities through a reformed EPWP program that focuses on skills and long-term jobs. And this is only the beginning. With your support, we're building a capable and professional department that delivers infrastructure, creates jobs, and puts public assets to work for the public good. The best is yet to come because we're building a better country for you, brick by brick.
Outsurance is simply the best at ensuring you always get something out. Outsurance scored 9.99 on the Hello Peter Trust Index, a near 5-star rating on Google reviews, and have outperformed their personal best on the number of complaints referred to the Ombudsman per 1,000 claims. Switch for low prices and service you can trust. Visit outsurance.co.za today and see how you also can get something out. Licensed, insured, and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
It's that time of the year. Sneezing, itchy, watery eyes, blocked noses, and coughs. It's time to live, work, play, and sleep allergy-free. For trusted relief for you and your family this allergy season, ask your pharmacist for the Adcock Ingram OTC Allergy Survival Pack. With products like Allergex Non-Drowsy, Cetisid, Levogex, and more, we have you covered. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC. And visit beprepared365.co.za.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. We are talking about the issue of safety or lack thereof, because there are some people that may in fact be lucky enough to live in gated communities, but they still feel unsaved. Some of you are living in the crime hotspots, and crime has become your daily experience. And I wonder how that has changed the way that you live your life. I know, female friends who don't even jog on their own anymore, even during the day. In daylight, they want to jog with someone else. I mean, are you still comfortable to walk your dog? Are you still comfortable to walk to the shopping complex, to the spaza shop? Do you still allow your kids to play in the streets? Because that's what we grew up doing. But that's not safe anymore. Kids are being kept in their homes because it's not even safe anymore to have them play freely with their neighbors' kids. You are lucky if you live in an estate because your kids can play on the streets. But even with that, some parents are more and more cautious. And I wonder if these levels of crime have changed how you live your life, how maybe you do your routines. People even use different routes sometimes to go home or arrive at home at different times to confuse criminals that may be watching. I told you about those gogos in Soshanguve when we did our outside broadcast there, focusing on the issue of crime, who were telling me that they close their gates at 6 p.m., not because they want to, but because they want to keep themselves safe. How safe do you feel in your community? What lifestyle changes have you made? We're living in difficult times, my friends. You know, Bonang Mohale was saying this morning we're a failed state. I'm not sure if I completely agree that we've reached that level yet, but we may be on our way there. We may be on our way there. You and I may be lucky enough to outsource security. Whether you live in the township, in an informal settlement, in the suburb. And by outsourcing security, I mean, whatever you do to make sure your house is protected or your family is protected, there are people in the township who pay 100 rand a week or for 2 weeks because they want young guys who are unemployed or young guys who don't have much in the morning to do to accompany them to bus stops, because criminals also target the elderly when they are on their way to work in the mornings. That is not normal. In any country, that is abnormal. We're living in very difficult times. And I think we may very well be headed to where Bonang Mohale thinks we've already arrived at, which is a failed state. Nonhlanhla, you're calling us from Everton in Everton West. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Fitness, Clement Manyathela.
Fitness? Why am I Mr. Fitness? Morning, Nonhlanhla.
How are you?
I'm all right. Go ahead.
I'm good. Clement, it's not safe out there.
Mm.
So, years back, before 2010, I was doing like the research, surveys and all that. So this time I got a job to do a stats in Mpumalanga. And the cars that we were using were hired cars. So we did some parts of the places because we found them, and then others we couldn't find, and then we went to the police station to ask. And also we were looking for a place to sleep. After we left the police station, somebody came to us and like, wrong turn, Shem, you're asking the wrong people, because as you are leaving, they are telling the guys to come and hijack you because they're working with them. Especially if they see that you're using you are doing stats and you're using the rented cars. I'm like, whoa. So as we were going around looking then where he directed us, Aisha, we could see which something is not right. We decided to leave, and I was like, let's go back to Pretoria. We will explain and come back tomorrow. We can't put our life at risk.
Yeah, it's so crazy, Nonhlanhla. It's really so crazy. By the way, we're talking about this because Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police, the chairperson, Ian Cameron, and 2 other members of Parliament fell victim to crime yesterday while on an oversight visit in Philippi in Cape Town. They were in one car. There are 3 unknown men who just attacked their vehicle with bricks, smashing at least 3 windows. And they were coming from an oversight visit to the police training college in Philippi when they came under attack. I think 3 people. I saw breaking news that the 3rd person has now been arrested. I think by this morning it was 2. So a 3rd person has now been arrested. And I think this raises concerns about the safety of people whose work requires them to undertake site visits. And no, we're not saying that, oh, look at how crime is such a crisis just because these members of parliament were victims of crime. No, that's always been the case. There are people who have faced a similar situation that they faced, but it's probably not been reported. But such is life when you live in South Africa. What for me, this concern raises is about the safety of people whose work requires them to undertake site visits. And sometimes they have to do that in dangerous areas. Maybe you're a member of parliament. Maybe you're a police officer. Maybe you're a paramedic, because ambulances get mugged as well. The paramedics get mugged when they go into our townships in ambulances. Sometimes they need reinforcement from the police. Maybe you work for City Power, Joburg Water. You're an e-hailing driver. You're a bus driver, a construction worker. Sometimes you have to get into these dangerous terrains. How do you navigate that? Kustas, you're calling from Midrand. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Yeah, morning. Hey, Abona Clement, this issue of crime is hectic. It's absolutely brutal. When I heard what happened to Ian Cameron, Ian Cameron has just arrived in Parliament. So people cannot then say that he just didn't do anything. This guy was vocal about crime way before he ended up in Parliament. So he cannot possibly be grouped with the guys who reduced the police budget in 2019, 2020, 2021. Who am I talking about? About National Treasury, Clement, and the presidency. I do not think they take crime seriously. Because, as I'm reminding you now, and other listeners, it was the budget of 2019, 2020, 2021, when the very same National Treasury, under the very same president, reduced the police budget. Do you know what happened afterwards, Clement? The crime sparked. So I'm suggesting to you that when people look at Ian Cameron, mustn't just look at him and say, what are they doing about this guy who has been speaking about him way before he came into Parliament last year? The people that we should actually show our anger towards is that National Treasury, is that presidency, and more on that, the police force right now, Clement, needs truly a cleanup. I don't see it at all, Clement. And so that Ramaphosa is unaware that there's criminal elements within the police force. Nothing is happening. So I'm suggesting to you that the frustrations of Mkonazi today and the other police officers don't start now. They started a long time ago. And South Africans must direct their anger to the right door. And the right door is presidency. The right door is National Treasury. The right door is a truly Parliament. Because there's no reason, Clement, why they're not tightening bail conditions here, GPVC fines here, criminal sentences there, and there. So the entire criminal sector under the government, they've literally just ignored it. I mean, Clement, who gets, you remember the guy Bellegrans? Bellegrans took about 360 million of Steinhoff. He was only given 10 years in jail. I mean, you tell me if you are serious about crime. Here's a guy blows in 360 million of people's money, and he comes to the state and they give him 10 years.
Yeah,
his name is Bellegrand. So I don't think we're serious about crime in this country and corruption.
Who is that CFO from VBS? Is it Philip Trusa?
And that one too.
Abel? Truta. Oh, Philip Truta. Yeah, VBS. I think, spent about 3 years or so.
There you go.
Round about that, and you look at the crimes and you think, but how is this supposed to serve also as a deterrent? It's just crazy. Yeah, Kustas, I hear you. Thank you so much for your call in Midrand. And look, I'm trying and move also the conversation from the blame game of, this member of parliament, this minister. And I do think that we need to have serious conversations about what government is doing, what the police are doing, how is parliament holding them accountable. But I think it would be naive of us to think that this crisis of crime is going to be solved only by these institutions in the state or the institutions in our democracy, these different levels even of government. Police will have their strategy, and we must critique it, we must question it, we must call for it to be strengthened. But what can we do as a society? Because I really feel helpless. And I'm asking us that question as a society because crime is a societal issue. It's not only going to be solved by the SAPS. Drug abuse, criminality, gender-based violence, you name it. These are societal issues that will not only take the police to deal with, but will need a multifaceted approach. I don't know if I have any solution. I'm just as frustrated. I'm just as helpless. These days when you're walking a dog, you're looking left, right. When there's a car that you think has been driving around you, you're already getting concerned. Like, we are a traumatized nation. And I see this when I travel. Most of the time when I'm traveling and somehow I get to be on the streets at 11 p.m. or midnight, and I'm so scared, and people are like, in those countries are like, why? They laugh at that, because for them, why are you scared to be walking the streets at 11 p.m.? That's not their reality, but that is ours. We are a traumatized nation because of the levels of crime that we have been subjected to. Here's some of the WhatsApps on 072 702 1702.
Hey, morning times. The way crime is so bad and the country so rotten, in my area, sometimes I see the Albani truck, like bread, delivering to tuck shops and other shops, driving with a security guard behind him, like an escort. Like, yeah, this country is a no-no, yeah? Cooks from Dublin.
Hi, Clement. Talking of security, there are certain police stations that are not even operational 24 hours. So, for instance, the police stations in Eldos closes at a certain point. I think it's like 10 or 9 p.m. because otherwise they also get robbed and they also get shot. So, yeah, the crime in this country has reached boiling point.
Clement, you see, in Midlands West, we're struggling with load reduction, low voltage, and all that stuff. Often when ESCOM comes, we make it a point that we escort them, even if it's at night, because we have it 2 days, 2 days we don't have it. But we make sure we look after until they finish their job, go away. When they have to come back again, we escort them, because there are criminal elements who take advantage of such things. It's our duty also as community to make sure the people are safe, because we can't rely on the cops. We've seen we can't rely on the police. We can't rely on the people who are escorted when they go to places like our government officials. They're always escorted. So this proved, Ian Cameron, that they can go there without escort because they were there to do a job. Cecilia.
When you vote in Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko, you don't just support a business, you help rewrite its future.
Winning Gauteng's greatest, powered by Yoko, impacted our business in quite a few ways. And for our business, which is a family business, which was actually originally established in KZN, it was so important in establishing ourselves in Gauteng with our second location, which many people didn't even know. Of course, yes, I would encourage people to vote for their favorite establishment. It's really not hard to do, to just quickly go to Prime Media Plus to cast your vote.
Winning Gauteng's greatest, powered by Yoko, has helped us to get that kind of public recognition, but this now gives that recognition to the staff who put in all that time and effort to give our customers the greatest pizza available. On behalf of us at Delta Cafe, I would strongly encourage all the listeners to go to Prime Media Plus and cast their votes.
Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Your vote is more than a click. It could be a game changer for your favorite local business. Vote now on primemediaplus.com.
Don't miss the magical sounds of the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's Symphony Season concert under the baton of Mayen Shen and featuring acclaimed pianist Kego Mukawa. The program includes Saint Saëns Piano Concerto No. 5, Schumann's Symphony No. 4, and more. Thursday, the 21st of August at 7:30 p.m. at the Linda Auditorium. Book your tickets at Quicket to avoid disappointment.
There's power in a single partner who helps you build a better employee benefits strategy. Begin with retirement, the foundation of securing your employee's future. Now layer in everyday health, mental wellness, and financial balance. And finally, essential protection for life's curveballs, from illness to income loss. Now that sounds like a complete benefit strategy, one that protects your people and powers your business. Talk to us at employeebenefits@oldmutual.com about Old Mutual Corporate's integrated employee benefits solutions. Old Mutual Corporate is a division of Old Mutual Life Assurance Company SA Limited, a licensed FSP and life insurer. T's and C's apply.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Your voice. Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
9 minutes before 10 o'clock. Jeff, you are in Woodmead. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Yeah, you know, the challenge I think that faces South Africa in a broader sense is that unless we start to actually address crime at the highest level, in other words, at government, at corporate, because corporate's not innocent. I mean, people think, oh, nice corporate, yes. They are very much a part of it. Until we get to that point, the rest of South Africa says, well, you know what, crime's just part of the process. Our politicians do it, our executives do it, Steinhoff, you know, all of those guys. And until we do that, the average person, and when I say the average person, I use that word in a very easy way because there's no such thing as an average person. But the principle is that, the people say, well, crime pays because look how rich other people get by just, and that's different crime. I mean, we assume that, white-collar crime is better than the other crime. No, it isn't. It actually isn't. It's all just crime.
Absolutely.
I mean, look, we're waiting for Zuma. When is this guy going to be prosecuted? And are we going to see this latest thing with the IDT? Is there going to be something happen there?
Nothing has happened yet.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Ramaphosa to explain the money in his couch.
He's already been cleared by a number of institutions. So the Hawks decided, the NPA even said we're not going to try anyone on this. So nothing is really going to happen with Phala Phala, regardless of what you may believe, even if you believe there's a case to answer. Like institutions have decided, no, this matter is closed. But you're right, Jeff. I think you're right. This really also starts at the top. If we are not going to see people being prosecuted for crimes that they commit, and we see successful prosecutions, why would an ordinary person even feel scared of the police and the Hawks and the NPA? Why would they be scared to go through the criminal justice system when they can see that the people who are right at the top are able to evade accountability? They're able to escape scot-free. How many times are we shocked by corruption in the higher echelons? Clear. Cases get dropped, or they get bungled in some cases. There's just no accountability whatsoever. And what? We expect people on the ground to be scared to commit crime because, I'm going to end up in jail. Ephraim, you're calling from Alex.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Sure, man. Go ahead.
You know, man, I'm so heartbroken when you talk about safety. I'm an e-hailing operator or driver. Clement, we're going through a lot, and it's not easy for us to maneuver this because these apps, e-hailing apps companies, Uber, Bolt, and InDrive, when you talk the tip that maybe it's from Eldo, maybe I'm crossing from Eldo, and then I'm online. If I don't take tip that is there, they penalize me. They reduce my driving score, and then tomorrow I'm not getting tips. So that's how crucial these people are, and even our government. Because when we talk about this verification, Clement, no one is listening to us. They think, these guys are always complaining, Uber is good. You look outside Uber, but you don't look inside what drivers are going through every day. We are penalized, Clement. If I don't take your tip, they penalize me. They penalize me. If you requested, Clement, you don't come, they penalize me for me cancelling that right. That's how crucial this Uber and Bolt are.
And I think it will be probably by tomorrow we may have a conversation around also that, Ephraim, looking at what happened in Soweto, and I'm trying to organize some round table of sorts, and that's going to be one of the issues that we discussed. Hopefully we're able to have that conversation tomorrow. But thanks for raising that with us, Ephraim and Alex.
Clement, good morning. Good show as always. You mentioned e-hailing, Joburg Water. You forgot the firefighters.
Yes.
There are places where it's a no-go area for the firefighters, Manyathela, in some places in KwaZulu-Natal and Cape Town. Firefighters, you can't go there. You need to be escorted to go there. But I think sometimes what happened to the portfolio committee, it's a wake-up call, Manyathela. It is a wake-up call. 2 detectives were killed. Detectives were taken out. The guy's picture was published everywhere. A reward for 150,000 was offered. Why are we not increasing the reward every day so that this man can be found? Where is Moyo, Mr. Manyathela? Maybe there is an update from your side, but from my side, I haven't heard of any update. Where is this Moyo criminal we've been looking for? His picture was everywhere. There is no update, Manyathela. That tells you, how far are we, I don't know, man. It's so sad. Benzito and Limpopo.
Yeah. We really are on our own. Please be safe out there. It's 2 minutes before 10.
Johannesburg, the Tribute to Women show is here. Join us on the 24th of August at Marks Park in Emerentia as we honor 31 years of democracy and the incredible contributions of women in South Africa. Featuring an all-star lineup, Keisha White, Ami Faku, Thandiswa Mazwai, Loyiso, and more. Get your tickets now at webtickets.co.za. The Tribute to Women show, proudly presented by Sheer Entertainment.
Do you know what's hiding behind colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by 30 September.
Dear Journal, day 4602 of trying to be an adult. My doctor asked me how my quality of rest is at the moment. I told him I have 2 problems. I struggle to sleep at night, but I also struggle to awake at day.
Aggressively realizing your age? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's simple and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Clement is on X
At The Real Clement M.
It's going up to 10 o'clock and we'll get the news with Sfiso Zulu. Afterwards, we're going to do our monthly feature, The Healing Hour. And today, we are holding space for some of you that are going through a difficult divorce or a difficult breakup. There are people that have been in very significant relationships, people that have been in significant marriages, and when that ends, as Bongani says, he said, I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. And I want to ask you this morning, how are you healing from that breakup, from that divorce? How are you picking up the pieces? You can give us a call right now or send us a WhatsApp voice note. We'll start that after the news. It's 10 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning. We begin with news just in. The Alexandra Magistrates Court has denied businessman Katiso KT Molefe bail for allegedly ordering a hit on DJ Somebody. Last month, Molefe was arrested for the DJ's murder, whose real name was Opa Sifoka. He was later linked to the 2022 murder of another musician, DJ Fintos, who was shot at a nightclub in Orlando East. Molefe was already out on bail after his arrest in connection with another hit last year. His lawyers have used the fact that he was granted bail on new facts by the Pretoria High Court to argue that a High Court has already found him eligible for release. But the state has argued that Molefe is a dangerous criminal with no regard for human life. And this morning, Magistrate Renif Boshoff has ruled that Molefe failed to prove exceptional circumstances for his release on bail.
As I have highlighted, there are a number of very concerning aspects, not only linking the applicant to the crimes, but also regarding his circle of influence and capabilities. His application for bail is accordingly refused.
In the Western Cape, Parliament has condemned the attack on 3 DA MPs in Philippi. Police Committee Chairperson Ian Cameron and NCOP member Nicholas Hutzel both sustained injuries during an attempted hijacking yesterday. MP Lisa Schrikrol was also in the vehicle at the time of the attack. They were returning from an oversight visit to the police training college in Philippi when they came under attack. An 18-year-old suspect believed to have shot or been shot during the attack is in hospital under police guard. Officers also arrested a 16-year-old suspect in Brown's Farm in the early hours of this morning. Parliament spokesperson Moloto Mutapo.
The presiding officers expressed deep concern, noting that such shocking acts of criminality not only endangers the lives of elected representatives and members of the public, but also undermines Parliament's constitutional duty to hold organs of the state accountable through oversight.
Deputy Minister in the Presidency for Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, Sieso Mohai, is set to lead an oversight visit in Mthatha to assess government's progress in responding to the deadly June floods. The disaster killed at least 103 people, including children, and left at least 4,000 homeless across the Eastern Cape. Today's visit will focus on housing plans, restoring basic services, and monitoring the implementation of the multi-billion rand relief package. Mongezi Gogo reports.
Survivors have been moved between community halls, schools and lodges, many complaining of poor conditions, including sleeping on floors without mattresses or blankets. Government has allocated more than 5 billion rand for recovery, including new housing, repairs to roads and clinics, and support for livelihoods. Permanent homes are expected to be ready by April next year. Meanwhile, flowers laid at memorial sites in Mthatha have become symbols of loss and hope as residents grieve and wait for relief. The government delegation, which includes local and provincial leaders, will inspect damaged sites and engage directly with affected communities. Mongi Ziko Ko, Eyewitness News.
And the inquiry into Truth and Reconciliation Commission cases says it hopes to have victims come forward to suggest how the Commission should run its business. Yesterday, retired Constitutional Court Justice Sisi Khampepe and her fellow commissioner gave their first briefing. President Cyril Ramaphosa set up the inquiry to investigate allegations of interference and efforts to stop the prosecution of TRC cases. Over 20 years since the TRC wrapped up, almost all 300 apartheid-era cases referred to the NPA for prosecution have not made progress. Khomotso Modise takes a look.
Retired Constitutional Court Justice Sisi Khampepe says the inquiry into the Truth and Reconciliation Commission is tasked with uncovering the facts about the alleged interference that stopped the prosecution of TRC cases.
We are also tasked with making recommendations about what measures should be taken against those that we may find were responsible for impeding the attainment of justice for the victims and their families.
While the commission was promulgated in May and officially started its work this month, it's yet to confirm where its headquarters will be. South Africans have been invited to a pre-meeting hearing, which will be held in the next 3 weeks, to determine how the commission should be run. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Hector Peterson Museum.
Gold is trading at $3,320.96 an ounce. The rand is at 17.69 to the dollar, 23.87 to the pound, 20.59 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $66.06 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got some delays on the N1 North. This is between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive, and that's due to roadworks taking place between these 2 points. Please be on the lookout there and drive with care. If you're traveling along the Mike 1 North, delays between Crown Interchange and Car Street.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the Alexandra Magistrates Court has denied businessman Katiso KT Molefe bail for allegedly ordering a hit on DJ Somebody.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Your vote is not just a click. It's a thank you, a nod, a way of saying we see you. Vote for your favorite local business now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. Thank you also for all those contributions on the 702 open line. Always appreciate that. Remember, at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our Listener's Choice feature. That's a feature where listeners decide what we should talk about. And if you want to send us your own suggestion, maybe a topic you think we haven't delved much into, we haven't sufficiently explored, you can just send us an email on cm@702.co.za. So at 11 o'clock, one of our listeners has asked that we discuss life in the West Bank in Palestine. So what is life like in the West Bank in Palestine? I'm going to speak to one of the residents there in the West Bank and we'll hear from them. That's what's coming up at 11 o'clock. But right now, it's time for the Healing Hour.
702
Healing Hour.
If you've never listened to the Healing Hour, this is our monthly feature. We call it the Healing Hour because it's all about healing. Healing for people that are calling us and sharing their experiences, but healing for people that are just listening to us. And they can relate, because sometimes that's what you need. Just you knowing that you're not the only person going through something just helps you manage even your emotions, your approach to that situation. Knowing that this is how someone else came out of a situation can help you as someone who is currently in that situation. We've been doing the Healing Hour for 5 years now on this show, and the feedback we've gotten is just so incredible. And I'm glad that a lot of you have, over the years, become vulnerable with us and trusted the space to share your pain, because this is a feature about that, to share our stories of survival. We dedicate an hour to have a conversation amongst ourselves as friends, as the 702 family. And I always remind you that this is a safe space to share your experience. We share those stories as friends, as a family, as a community with no judgment. And today, I want us to hold space for our brothers and sisters and our fathers and our mothers and our friends who are going through a breakup or are going through a divorce. And I want to know how you're healing from that. And it may be as fresh as 2 days ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. How are you healing from that divorce or breakup? What happened and how have you been picking up the pieces? Because the end of a relationship can be very difficult and emotional. It can be especially painful because it represents the loss, not just of that partnership, but also of the dreams, of the commitments and the future that you envisioned together with that person you are divorcing from, that you are breaking up with. Whatever the reason for the split, and whether you wanted it or not, the heartbreak from the end of the relationship can turn your whole world upside down. And it can also trigger all sorts of painful emotions. I think many of us at our age, we've gone through some difficult breakups. And that just launches you into uncharted territory. You may encounter a complex array of emotions, from grief to sadness to anger, guilt, fear. In fact, the aftermath of a breakup or divorce can disrupt every aspect of your life, from your routine, certain things that you guys used to do together, the responsibilities maybe that you used to share. I mean, your home, if you shared a home together. And then there's the relationship with extended family and friends. That can also shake your own identity. The unknowns that lie ahead. Isn't that daunting? All these uncertainties about what the future holds and whether we're actually going to find love again. How is your life going to be without your partner? All these are the questions we often ask ourselves. Will I find someone else? Will I end up alone? These unknowns can often add to that pain of the actual heartbreak. So how are you healing from that? Because by acknowledging the complexity of those emotions and the challenges that come with the end of that relationship, then I think you're beginning the process to heal. You are processing that experience. You're moving forward with greater clarity and purpose. You can give us a call right now on 011-883-0702 to share with us how you are healing. You can send us a WhatsApp voice note as well on 072-702-1702. I've got some messages already that have come through on the WhatsApp line, so I'm going to start with this one from Anonymous, who says, "Good morning, Clement. I'd like to stay anonymous. Divorce has been incredibly painful. Not just the end of a relationship I thought would last forever, but having to start over completely. I went from a warm, full home to an empty, quiet house. I used to have a constant access to my child. Now I only see her twice a month. And lately, not at all. My ex has made decisions about our child without even including me, even refusing to let me see her. I now have to go to her school just to get a glimpse of her. Everything, even small disagreements, end up in court. It's emotionally draining and exhausting, and it comes with that pain of a divorce." Anonymous, I really hope that the situation changes for you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Here's a WhatsApp voice note that's also come through.
Morning. Obaking here from Midrand. Just want to tell you my story. So, April, I got the shocking news that my partner has started seeing someone. So we broke up. Worst time of my life. But yeah, ever since then, obviously, done the therapy. And yeah, through the therapy, I've essentially found myself again, which I'd lost in the relationship. And yeah, I'm doing good. I'm thriving. The irony is that, yeah, I've gone from me struggling to my ex-partner now seems to be going through hell mentally. So yeah, just thought I'd share a good news story. Just want to encourage everyone out there to suffer through the pain, and it gets better after some time. Cheers, bye.
Thank you so much for that. And I think, that's also that positive, that light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm glad to hear that you have done some work and through therapy, you have found yourself again. Isn't it interesting that when we are in marriages or in these long-term serious relationships, we don't really think or even realize that we're losing ourselves. I don't know. I just find that it's often, when I hear stories, that it's often post the marriage, post that relationship, that people say, oh, I was I had to find myself again. I've always tried to understand that. Like in the moment when we lose ourselves, and is it really losing ourselves, or is it us adapting to a life that now involves the two of you and the love of your life, as opposed to just them or yourself? So you are bound to let go of other things. You are bound to learn new things. And I think sometimes when we are out of those partnerships, out of those marriages, we often think that we actually changed and we became people sometimes we can't even recognize. And I know sometimes there are cases where that is actually quite fundamental, and it happens in such a striking way that you are not able to even recognize who you are. But sometimes it's because you are with someone and you had to learn to do things with them, and they had to learn to do things with you. How are you healing? Are you also seeing light at the end of the tunnel? Is it still difficult? Tony says, hi, Clement. I share the same sentiment that Bongani shared with you earlier. So just for context, I told Bongani Bingo we'll be healing from divorce and breakups. And he said that it's been 15 years since he went through his divorce. And he says he would never wish it on anyone else because it's such a painful experience. And Tony says, Clement, I agree with the sentiment that was shared with Bongani earlier. I would not even wish it on my worst enemy. I have been divorced since 2017. I can still not recover from that. I've been scarred emotionally and mentally ever since, let alone have I been left crippled financially as well. I have recovered ever since. That's that message there from Tsakani. Thank you so much for that, Tony. But I'm also glad to hear that you've recovered. And it's okay for people to still be in a situation where they're not recovered. Because I do think sometimes that's what happens. Some people take longer to get over a divorce, to get over a breakup. And there are some people who, that thing happens today, a week later, they believe themselves that they're fine and they're ready to just move on and continue with life. But that's not always the case. There are some people that take about 2 years to get over something, or even longer. How long has it taken you? If you've been in a situation like that, where there's a divorce, where there's a breakup, how long has it taken you to get over it? Because what I've come to learn from my readings around grief, and I do believe that it's grief that we go through when there's a marriage or a relationship that's broken down. And I think what I've come to learn about grief is that you can never postpone it. We all try. When that divorce happens, you can pretend to yourself or your friends as much as you want, but you know yourself. And you can pretend as if you're fine and yeah, life moves on, I'm fine. Because somehow we don't want to show the next person that we are walking away from, or the person walking away from you, that actually you are going through it and you're in pain. But that's going to catch up with you at some point. You may postpone it for those 3 months, being pretentious, but at some point that hits you because you do end up grieving. You end up grieving the promises that were made. You end up grieving the shared dreams. No matter how painful that betrayal may have been. So You can't postpone grief, or you can you can cancel it and postpone it indefinitely. At some point, it will catch up with you. Thomas, you're in Mpumalanga. Good morning.
Clement, how are you?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
I'm not good, Clement, at all.
Joshua.
Clement is so difficult.
Mm.
So difficult, I can tell you, Clement. You have been 11 years in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get married, but Clement, they break up. Yo, I'm not Kobe even now. You know, when you are in a relationship with a girl, you are not on. How more enough family? You have family. You have family. Like things you used to do together, and then after that, even now I'm afraid to fall in a relationship again. Like I can't say anything now. I'm just saying it is difficult.
How long has it been since the breakup, Thomas?
Now it's been 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
Are you still talking with your ex?
Yeah, sometimes she try to call me sometimes because I think maybe she's feeling guilty somewhere somehow, but I'm afraid I can't take it anymore. I can't be in a relationship with her because she's the one who hurt me the most.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes I try maybe with him, but I can't take that risk.
Yeah, because you've been. You feel you're betrayed? Is there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's so difficult. Whereby sometimes I know I have anger issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can have anger issues. My family, this guy is not the same guy anymore.
Sure.
So even I can say that.
And were there kids involved?
No, okay. And then she introduced them to me. Because what had most last week, and then her firstborn, she even called me her baby. So, if I can tell you, German, now, okay, I'm trying to change strada. If when I'm going to shopping, I used to pass her gate, now I'm avoiding to pass the gate because
and those kids, so there's also a breakup with the kids. You're not talking to her kids. There's no relationship anymore whatsoever.
Nothing for now, because maybe in future, or maybe I have to heal first, then I'll see that. Because as my child, they know me as the real biological father.
Oh, Thomas in Mpumalanga, thank you so much for your call. You sound like such a genuine man, and I'm sorry about this betrayal that you've experienced from your ex-girlfriend. And I'm glad that you're putting yourself first, because you have to heal first yourself before you can consider also other people. Let's go to WhatsApps.
Hi, Clement. I think the issue with divorce or a long-time partner is that you had invested so much in that person or in the relationship itself. It's not just your emotions. You've got family involved. You've got kids. You've got money, cars, whatever. So for the relationship to end, or maybe especially finding out that the person is cheating and you know that's your deal breaker, you can't stay in that chaos. It becomes too much because it's financial impact. Maybe you guys are sharing bills, you're staying in the same house. Maybe you guys have kids. Now the kids have to be separated from the mom or the dad. Now it's the family. The family has to break off with your partner because remember, family is also attached to this guy or the person. And yeah, it's not just a you thing working away. It's a lot. It's a lot. But yeah, I think with age you also learn to heal. You learn to move on with life and understand that sometimes you just have to put yourself first and move on.
Hi, Clem. Mike in Orange Grove. I think from experience, it's not an easy walk from a separation or a divorce. The after effects are what is big and tremendous. What's worse is especially when a person decides to walk out of your life and never explain to you the reasons why, block you off from many things, from access to your children, from access to even communication. Doesn't want you to communicate. And you still ask yourself, what wrong did I do? That is the worst torture one can institute to another person. And this is what I've been going through for the past 3.5 years. I've gone through that. I can't chat to my kids. I can't access my kids. I can't have them, And that's the most difficult and painful part.
Hi, Clement. I'm healing from a relationship with a dismissive avoidant that ended earlier this year. He invalidated my needs. He was emotionally unavailable. He blew hot and cold and blamed me for the end of it all. In the end, it feels like he broke me in unmendable ways because I internalized everything he said, wondering what I could have done differently, how I could have showed up differently. What if? But now I'm trying to tend the gardens of my innate self-worth and raise the fences because no matter how much I loved him, no matter how much I supported him, I couldn't do the emotional work for two people. I couldn't carry his pain for him. And that's what I try to hold on to when days are difficult. That no matter how much I loved him, no matter how perfectly I loved him, it wouldn't have been enough.
Hi, Clement. I think the best way is to grieve. You have to grieve as long as you can in any way you feel like you can forget a person. I'm also going through the same way, but mine is a little bit different because the person is not out of my life in full. But if you can pretend to the people, but at the end of the day, it will come to you somewhere, somehow. So the only way is you must grieve to the fullest. And then that's when you can close the chapter.
Sure. God has blessed us with love. I think that is fundamental in any religion, in any culture, in any family values. That is probably that's the common thing. And I think I find love to be a blessing from God because we are able to love people to the extent that we love them when we are not even related to them. So yes, you can love your friends, you can have a best friend, but when you fall in love, you fall in love. And I think there's something sacred and something so unbelievable and ununderstandable, if there's such a word, about love. But at the same time, I think love is only for the brave. Because for you to be able to take that tough decision to accept that actually I've fallen in love with this person, I'm taking that risk to give them my heart. And I don't know, because you can never guarantee how the next person is going to handle your heart. Nobody can ever guarantee that. Even when you get married to someone, for better or for worse, you don't know for sure that they're going to handle your heart with the delicacy that is required. Delicately. What a risk. What a gift we've been given. But what a risk that comes with that. And that's why I say it's really for the brave. And maybe we need to be so kind to ourselves when the proverbial ish hits the fan and we find ourselves on the other side. Be gracious to yourself and say, I was brave enough to take that risk and love and experience love. It's 10:30. We're going to come back with more of your calls on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. It's our monthly feature, the Healing Hour. And I'm asking you, how are you healing from that divorce? What happened? How have you been picking up the pieces? How are you healing from that breakup. Sfiso, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the Criminal Justice System is set to begin on the 1st of September. The commission, chaired by retired Concord Judge Mbuyiseli Madlanga, was established by President Cyril Ramaphosa after KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi made explosive allegations in July. In another development this morning, the Alexandra Magistrates Court has denied businessman Katiso K.T. Mulife bail for allegedly ordering a hit on DJ Sambodi. Last month, Mulife was arrested for the DJ's murder. He was later linked to the 2022 killing of another musician, DJ Fintos, who was shot dead at a nightclub in Soweto. And human rights organization Section 27 says the NPA has given the Life Esidimeni families some indication that a decision is looming on possible prosecution in the deaths of mental health patients. The latest developments in a drawn-out matter follows a meeting between the NPA and the families of the Esidimeni victims. More than 140 people died in 2016 during a botched transfer project meant to move psychiatric patients from the private life facility to ill-equipped state hospitals and NGOs. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling on the Mark 1 North double-decker section, we've got an accident near Car Street. It's causing heavy delays from the Crown interchange, while on the M2 West, delays between the Crown turn-off and Main Reef Road heading towards Amalgam. If you are traveling towards the Midrand, we've got some delays along the N1. This is just as you come out of New Road. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North towards the Kilulis interchange. I'll have more updates for you at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
It's time to eat, dance, and celebrate. The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is serving up 2 days of world-class entertainment from international acts to South Africa's finest artists, alongside culinary masterpieces from the best local chefs. Browse fashion and art, take part in live cooking demos, and soak up the festival's electric atmosphere. Saturday the 20th of September is for you and your crew, and Sunday the 21st of September is for the family picnic vibes. DSTV is turning 30 and you're invited to the party. One ticket, endless experiences. Tickets at Ticketmaster. More on deliciousfestival.com.
Time. When you're a kid, it moves slower than a sloth trying to get through airport security. There is just so much of it. Skip forward a few years to your 20s. Time is still your friend. It says have some balance. Go party and have fun. Then your 30s hit. And time suddenly steps on the accelerator like it's trying to catch a traffic light before it goes red. 40s. Now time is moving faster than your 10-year-old on a sugar high. 50. You're desperately trying to save as much as you can, but time is moving so fast. And all you can think is, where did all the time go? That's why after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time for some much-deserved you time. Now, isn't that a compelling enough reason to invest? Ellen Gray. Long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
Your workday calls for more performance, more doing the impossible, more challenge accepted. Your weekends demand more excitement, more detours, more limitless living. And the new GWM P300 LS is where it all comes together. Bring it on in the new P300 LS with a 2.4 turbo diesel and 12.3-inch touchscreen from only $5,999 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and Authorized Financial Services and registered credit provider.
702 Healing Hour.
25 minutes before 11 o'clock. On our healing hour this morning, we are healing from divorce, from a breakup. Doesn't matter whether it happened 6 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 months ago, maybe it happened 3 days ago. How are you healing from that? How have you been picking up the pieces? And why did you decide to walk away? You can give us a call on 011 to share your experience with us. 011-883-0702. We're taking your WhatsApps as well on 072 Lux, you are calling us from Alberton. Good morning.
Good morning, Clem. Yeah, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Hey, Clem, you know what? Been married for 12 years. Been with my wife for 16 years together. We have 2 wonderful kids, yeah. So with all that has happened, man, in December we decided, you know what, it's not working out for us anymore. And I decided to walk out. I walk away. I left everything, man. I left my house carrying a bag, you know, just a bag, leaving everything behind. Went on to stay a family member, and that was in December. And that December, I met an amazing woman, you know. Man, can you believe that? Jumped straight into another relationship.
Yeah.
And it was a whirlwind relationship, man. Everything amazing, you know. 3 months into it, man, I started leading onto this poor woman, man. An amazing soul, Clem, you know. Just when I thought everything is going so well, I started bleeding, man. All my insecurities of the past started accusing her of unspeakable things, you know. Unspeakable things, man, you know. It's because I didn't take time to confront my demons, you know, the past and all of that. Started bleeding on her, man. It was just a non-stop thing. She often has to prove her credibility, her, you know. Man, those are the kind of things I did, you know. But yeah, you know what she did, man? A few days ago, she decided, said, Lux, I can't go on like this. Please, man, deal with your past, deal with your ghost. Yeah, so now I'm dealing with that heartbreak now of getting dropped. I understand her stance. I mean, I really cannot fault her on that. Yeah, but I'm dealing with it now, man. I'm seeking therapy now, Clem. I'm seeking therapy, man. I'm doing all of that, man. You know, yeah, it's really a painful journey, man.
Yeah. After your divorce, Lux, how long did it take for you then to jump onto the new relationship?
Man, it was not even a divorce, Clem. It was like I left my separation. That we decided. I told her that, you know what, I'm out. I'm leaving, and I took all my stuff and I left. And within a week, jumped into another relationship.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
without having to take time to heal and everything.
Heal. Yeah, and you, as you say, Lux, you end up then bleeding on someone else. Lux, thank you so much for that call, and thank you for introducing that aspect as well, because as I said earlier on, you can pretend as much as you want to try and hide the pain or try and avoid sitting on your own and dealing with that pain, but it's going to catch up with you at some point. And like Lux says, sometimes it's going to manifest itself through the impact on other people. So it's important to also take some time after that breakup and after that divorce to just go through what has happened, and quote unquote find yourself, for lack of a better phrase. Let's go to the WhatsApps on 0727021702.
Hi, Clement. I'm struck by the fact that so many men are phoning in, and just thank you for this conversation. I wanted to say kudos to the women and the moms who do not use the children as pawns in a divorce or in a separation. I've been dating somebody whose ex-wife is a wonderful woman who has just been so upright and open to me and the relationship I have with their son. And I encourage every mother in that situation to be the bigger person, as painful as it is, and to not let the kids get caught in the middle. And just wishing everybody who's going through this pain a lot of healing, and be gentle, get therapy, it helps. And thank you for the conversation.
Hi, Clement. So my coping mechanism up to now is I pretend that I'm good, I'm fine the whole day, I'm smiling, I'm happy. And at the end of the day, I cry until the morning. And in the morning, I clean myself and I dress up and I show up. I've been doing this for years now. and it's not easy. The crying never stops in the night, and I never sleep.
Hi, Clement. I'm a divorce coach, a divorce recovery coach, and I can hear the intense agony that so many of your callers are in at the moment. And while everyone talks about, grieving and healing, and that grieving process is necessary, absolutely necessary. I am a divorcee myself, and I know just how painful it is to come to terms with your life changing, because no one gets into a marriage with the intention of getting divorced. And I think that is where the biggest pain comes from. So having support is an absolute necessity through the grieving process. It's not easy to do it on your own. So whether you choose to go to a counselor, your religious leaders, or even join a support group, it is a huge help to anyone going through divorce. So I hope that everyone listening finds the support that they need. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that, especially from someone who, deals with this on a daily. Carol, your calling is from Morningside. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Clement?
I'm all right, thanks. Go ahead.
Good. Yes, I've been through 2 divorces, and my first divorce. The difference, I suppose, is the fact that most of the time when you do get divorced, it happens at least a year before the divorce. Emotionally, you check out. That's from one end. On the other end, I suppose it's when you are surprised or somebody cheated and you make that decision due to it's a reaction to something happening. In my case, it was more like I had to have an introspective that do I really want to be in this unhappy relationship? So for me, it was checking out of the relationship way before, mourned the relationship while I was going in the relationship.
So by the time you leave, you had already started the mourning process.
Yes, we already started the mourning process, and when it does happen, one of the key aspects that also helped me is the fact that being honest with yourself, being truly honest with yourself, like where you did wrong, and how do you see it going forward? Can you forgive? That's number one. And also not having external external people also coming in, which is the relatives and whatever. They'll give you advice and so forth. And most of the time we start listening to them, and we actually ignore our true feeling.
Yeah.
We're worried about outside people. So that also puts pressure on you in terms of the whole process and being depressed and everything, because you are thinking about other people. The important thing is to actually put yourself first and say that, can I live with what's happening right now? Once you have that, once you look into the mirror and you know the answer, you'll know it when you are all by yourself, then you can take further steps. Most of the time it's people going, I'm still sad, I'm still mourning the relationship and everything else. But they need to, immediately you need to start, before you dwell and marinate on the issue. And then, because the memories that you have is the memories of when things were good. You're still hanging on to that, but you are not facing the reality of what was happening, the bad things that led to the current situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
Carol, thank you for that.
yeah.
So you've been, divorced twice, yeah?
Yes.
Would you?
Yeah, I've been divorced.
Would you consider going at it again?
Oh yes, I'm a sucker for life. So I'm married now for the past 10 years. The past 10 years, I've been with the person for 16 years now, and
nice.
it's because I did that work with my first and second marriage, then I knew exactly what I wanted and what I didn't want in this marriage. And it's great.
Amazing.
It's great.
Amazing. Thank you. I'm happy to hear that, Carol. Thank you. Vusi, you're calling us from Pretoria. Hi.
Hi, Clement. Lord Chanjani.
But
It's all right. Clement, after breaking up with my girlfriend, we were together for 10 years. The anger that I had, I was taking it out on the street, like when I was driving, making sure that I was angry because of what happened from that relationship when we were breaking up. Because I caught her cheating. She was with this guy, of which I phoned her. The phone was ringing, and then she picked it up, and then she said she's by the friend. And I said, no, I phoned your friend, but the friend said you are not there. And then she dropped the call. And then because there was this number that we keep on calling her, I once took those numbers, saved them. So when I was phoning these numbers, the music in the background, it was the same music that was ringing on, that was playing on her phone. And then I said to this guy, I'm looking for this person. She said, I don't know the person. She dropped the call. So then I concluded that they were together from the music that was playing in the house. So at some stage, she confessed, because I forgave her. She confessed that, no, I was with this guy in a car. But now she didn't want to tell me who is this guy or show me. But now then from there, like when I was going home, I'd be thinking, okay, maybe this is the guy. When I was going home from work at night, I would make sure that no car overtakes me if the windows are tinted, maybe thinking that maybe these are them that want to drop her. So I ended up leaving that relationship. And then now I'm fine. It took me time to heal because of the anger that I had, like when I was driving at night.
Yeah.
Like the road, I caused a road rage just because of I'm thinking maybe it's them, they're rushing to drop her at home. But when I got out of that, I got healed. Now I'm married, I'm happy with my wife.
I'm happy to hear that, Vusi. Sound like such a genuine, loving man. I'm so happy that you have found someone who loves you and is willing to just dedicate their life to you as you have dedicated yours to them. Neheng, you're in Boksburg. Hi.
Hi, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Go ahead.
Yes. I've been divorced for 6 years now. So it's really difficult, especially because my ex-husband was a very hands-on father. So and now unfortunately we stay in two different provinces. So, for me, how I try to cope is with my family structure. My mom is very supportive, so she really helps me with the kids. And spiritually, I read the Word of God, and I do believe that God restores. And I'm seeing it now with my current partner. We've been together for now 5 years. Even dating after divorce is tough. But if you have somebody that understands and that supports you, it makes it a little bit better. But the pain doesn't really go away.
Sure, Neheng, thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you. It's 11 minutes before 11. More of your calls and WhatsApps after this.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to
So there have been a couple of new words that have been added to the Cambridge Dictionary over the past year. And if you are a parent of a Gen Alpha, or if you are a Gen Alpha, then you'll know what these mean. So the words skibbity, delulu, tradwife, and luke. A lot of these are from social media. Even the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has taken on this lexicon.
They are delulu with no salulu.
I like to think that we're Riz here on the Midday Report. The Midday Report.
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
What is Overtrail? Is it off the beaten path, over the edge of comfort, or the thrill of the road less taken? It's over every bridge, every obstacle, every trail, and over to that view that takes your breath away. Overtrail means going further, exploring deeper, surrounded by the comfort and sophistication of a luxury SUV. It's this spirit that inspired the Overtrail project. Experience Overtrail in the LX and GX range. Lexus. Experience amazing.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za. 702
Healing Hour.
8 minutes before 11 o'clock. Let's start with voice notes on 072 702 1702.
Good morning, Clement. Nice show as usual and a great topic. Ish, my man, your topic is kind of triggering me in a way that remember after my divorce, not actually, after I found out that my partner was cheating, then yeah, we got separate ways and stuff. I mean, I lost myself, started drinking in a very abnormal way. I lost myself. Finding myself was the hardest things I have ever experienced in life. And at some point, I even tried killing myself, but I'm glad whatever I tried didn't work out. Yeah, it's the worst thing ever to experience. I'm doing fine now, and I want to remain anonymous. Thank you.
Good afternoon or good morning, Clement. What an interesting topic. It's Isaac speaking from Pretoria. With me, it was a very saddening situation, but yes, of course, the issue of grieving or mourning over your marriage is essential. I did that, but it was not long. I think I did it for about 4 months, and then I had to move on. I am now married to my second wife now. We are still in communication with the mother of my children in the previous marriage, but there is no issues except that I have moved on. Thank you.
Hi, Clement. I'm the child of a very acrimonious divorce. I saw it happen. I wouldn't wish it on any family. However, my parents had a shift throughout the divorce process, and they decided to put us first as the kids. So my dad would come back early from work, make sure that by the time we got to my mom's place from school, he does the homeworks, lunch, and my mom would come back from work in the evening, and she takes over like a shift. And so it worked, and now they're best friends, and we're all a happy divorced family.
Wow, that's amazing. It's good to see that they've somehow found each other outside of that love nest and they can be friends again. Thanks for that. Nomsa, you are calling from Johannesburg. Good morning. Hi, Nomsa.
Hi, how are you, Clement?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Now, this topic, Clement, it reminds me of my own divorce.
Yeah.
It was a painful one. You see, the thing is about divorce, they are different. There's violent divorce, there's emotional. You see the situation whereby kids just see their dad taking his bags going and they never see any fight. Now you're stuck with these kids, you have to explain something you don't even know yourself. I'm happy for people who manage to go through, but I told myself, marriage, it will be a lie again. Never. You can't be married for a person for 18 years and you realize I didn't know this person. Oh, who is this person? You asking yourself alone now, is this the person I married? I got married to? But anyway, it's fine. The kids have grown, but they are there. You see, they remind you sometimes, not about him, but it affects them. Because another one, like my youngest one, is like, yo, mama, marriage,
Oh, my goodness.
It's me. And I'm talking about a boy child. He said, Mama, what we went through, because he was old enough at the age of 14. You see, and no explanation.
Oh,
and
Nosa.
Yeah, and there's no contact. It's like, done. It's okay.
Have you done therapy with the kids or for yourself? Are you talking to someone, a church leader?
I talked to a church leader because I don't know. I started therapy. For me, it didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, because sometimes you sit down, you remember the music display a person used to play. It was sent to you, but you were not aware. I'm not laughing, but when I sit down, there are some songs or some music whereby I try to say goodbye and I choke. And you remember,
yes.
This was meant for me most, but I was naive now.
Thank you. Thanks to you for sharing your story with us. I appreciate that. I really do. I know how difficult it is to be vulnerable to this stranger on the other side of the radio, of the phone, of the TV. But I appreciate it because the stories you're sharing, there are people listening and they can't call or they don't want to call. They're not comfortable. But they take heart in knowing that they're not the only ones. And that gives them some sort of healing and that helps them start their own journey of healing. So thanks to each and every one of you that have shared your experiences with us. It's 2 minutes before 11.
And there you go, your favorite latte, hot and ready.
You never disappoint.
Listen, did you see that email? God, it's going down. Let's catch up later. Got another Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay, cool.
Later.
Meet our audience. They are working, living their lives, sharing stories, and always listening. So if you're going to interrupt them, it better be good. Prime Media Broadcasting Sales. We help you connect with every productive, innovative, and dynamic individual in our audience. From the open plan office to the executive suite. Contact us at advertise@primemedia.co.za today.
If you want to know about the heart and art of jazz, look no further than the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, a grand ensemble of over 50 world-class acts across 4 stages for 3 whole days. That's right, from the 26th, 27th and 28th of September. The Sandton Convention Center will be demure and sophisticated as the fine Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 takes you deep into the heart, the art and splendor of jazz. Take me there. Book your seat via Ticketmaster now. Clement is on X
at The Real Clement M.
All right, it's a minute now before 11 o'clock. We are getting ready for the news. When we come back, we are going to start with our Listener's Choice feature. And today, if you have ever wondered what life is like in the West Bank in Palestine, you don't want to miss this conversation. There's a listener who's asked that we discuss what life is like in the West Bank. There's a lot of focus that's been on Gaza because of the war. But there's a lot happening in the West Bank, and you'll find out how Palestinians' lives are like in the West Bank after the news. It's 11 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. We begin with news just in. The consumer inflation has climbed to a 10-month high, putting extra pressure on household budgets. Statistics South Africa says the rate rose to 3.5% in July, up from 3% in the previous month. Food prices are leading the surge, with meat and vegetables being the biggest driver. In another development this morning, the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into Criminality, Political Interference and Corruption in the criminal justice system is set to begin on the 1st of September. The commission, chaired by retired Concord Judge Mbuyiseli Madlanga, was established by President Cyril Ramaphosa after KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Clement Manyathela made explosive allegations in July. Last month, Ramaphosa gazetted the Madlanga inquiry, including the terms of reference which lay out the scope of the inquiry and other regulations which guide its work. Oren Singh reports.
More than a month following the announcement of the establishment of a Judicial Commission of Inquiry to probe serious allegations raised by KZN Police Commissioner and Clement Manyathela, a date has been set for the commencement. The hearings, which will be open to the public, will be held at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in the nation's capital of Pretoria. Last month, the department revealed that the commission is expected to cost close to 148 million rand over the next 6 months. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
The Alexandra Magistrates Court has denied businessman Katiso KT Molefe bail for allegedly ordering a hit on DJ Somebody. Last month, Molefe was arrested for the DJ's murder, whose real name was Opa Sifuka. He was later linked to the 2022 murder of another musician, DJ Fintos, who was shot at a nightclub in Orlando East. Molefe was already out on bail after his arrest in connection with another hit last year. His lawyers have used the fact that he was granted bail on new facts by the High Court in Pretoria to argue that a High Court has already found him eligible for release. But the state has argued that Molefe is a dangerous criminal with no regard for human life. Magistrate Ranif Boshoff this morning ruled that Molefe failed to prove exceptional circumstances for his release.
As I have highlighted, there are a number of very concerning aspects, not only linking the applicant to the crimes, but also regarding his circle of influence and capabilities. His application for bail is accordingly refused.
Human Rights Organization Section 27 says the NPA has given the Life Esidimeni families some indication that a decision is looming on possible prosecution in the deaths of mental health patients. The latest developments in a drawn-out matter follows a meeting between the NPA and the families of the Esidimeni victims. More than 140 people died in 2016 during a botched transfer project which was meant to move psychiatric patients from the private facility to ill-equipped state hospitals and NGOs. Almost a decade later, no one has been held accountable. Nolukanya Mtambo reports.
More than a year ago, the Pretoria High Court handed down a landmark judgment in the Life Esidimeni inquest after months of testimonies meant to determine if anyone should be held criminally liable for the tragedy. The judgment was the first of its kind when the court found that the death of 9 Life Esidimeni victims were caused by the negligent conduct of former Health MEC Dani Mahlangu and the former head of the Mental Health Directorate, Makhabu Manamela. CEO at Section 27, Sasha Stevenson.
At the meeting yesterday, it did seem like we are moving in that direction, that the NPA has received a legal opinion that recommends prosecution of Ms. Mahlangu and Dr. Manamela for the deaths of 2 mental health care users.
Section 27 says the NPA needs to act fast to avoid a further delay of justice. Nogukanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
And Doctors Without Borders in Sudan has been forced to suspend operations following a grenade attack on a hospital in Darfur. Tensions between groups accompanying patients escalated inside the facility on Friday. A hand grenade was detonated in front of the emergency room, killing 1 person. 5 others were injured, including 1 Ministry of Health medical member. The organization says the forced suspension will interrupt people's access to health care, including the treatment for those affected by the ongoing cholera outbreak. According to the United Nations, since the war began, Sudan's regular army and the paramilitary rapid support forces began in April 2023. More than 128 workers have been killed. Gold is trading at $3,320.96 an ounce. The rand is at 17.69 to the dollar, 23.87 to the pound, 20.59 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $66.06 a barrel.
Some delays on the N3 South. This is between the Linksfield Road exit and the Kilulis interchange, while in the northerly direction, delays from Van Buren Road towards the Kilulis interchange. If you were traveling along the Markwa North, that accident we spoke about earlier has been cleared. Traffic is now flowing, but we still have got delays on the M2 West between the Crown interchange and Main Reef Road.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 25 and 26 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: consumer inflation has climbed to a 10-month high, putting extra pressure on household budgets.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Gauteng's greatest awards at 702 and Yoko. Let's celebrate excellence, one vote at a time. Go to primediaplus.com now to vote for the finalist that makes Gauteng feel like home.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumela, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. I was actually reading some messages on the WhatsApp line that came through during our Healing Hour feature, and I just want to wrap up with some of them because I think, let me just read, I think about 4 or 5 messages that came on the WhatsApp line, and then we'll start with our Listener's Choice feature. Especially because there was a suggestion I saw from someone about a course that they attended, and I thought maybe that may be valuable for someone who is trying to find a way to deal with this. So there's a message here. It says, "Hi Clement, I'd like to remain anonymous. I agree that divorce, which you didn't want, is the most traumatic thing than if I had lost my husband to death. That would have been easier to accept than going through 3 years of his affair and all the blatant lies, deceit, going for counseling and hoping and praying that everything will come right. It would have been easier to think of him in the cemetery than to picture him with a new young girlfriend. When he moved out, I eventually accepted that this marriage is over. It was very difficult to start afresh at the age of 53. What really helped me is doing the divorce care course. Various churches offer this course. It is the best thing I ever did, and it helped me pick up the pieces. I'm now in a new relationship, and I'm happy." Anonymous, thank you for that, and I'm glad to hear that you have now found the love of your life. Another one says, "Clement, this is Anonymous. I've been married for 13 years now. He had 3 affairs, but after strike 3, I couldn't continue. I tried to forgive, but it was mentally and emotionally draining. This divorce has set me so far back. There's no catching up. I'm comfortable now, but I'm not where I want to be. At times, I resent him. Parenting plan is working very well, though. That's a plus." That's a message from Anonymous. Another one, "Hi Clement, just broke up with my partner of 6 years. We have a 4-year-old daughter together. I used to come home to a warm and happy environment, but today it's a cold and lonely place. I do see my daughter on weekends, but the warmth is gone. It's very sad, but I'm soldiering on. At least we are not fighting. She still calls to check up on me, and I do the same, but we can't be together anymore." Another person says, "Clement, I am divorced 22 years now, and it took me 3 years to get over it. My husband had an affair with my sister-in-law, my brother's wife at the time. She was also one of my best friends since school days, so it was a double betrayal. My kids were still toddlers. So it was very painful. I was fortunate that I had a great support system. My family and friends were there for me. What also helped me were my kids. I had to be there for them, and I always say they saved my life. I love them so much, but it was a hard road, and I agree. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Another one says, "Hi Clement, amazing topic today on the Healing Hour. I got divorced 2 years ago and thought my world had ended. Through therapy, friends and church, the community, I've come a long way, and now I am healed and I've moved on. I'm glad I did not kill myself because the pain was unbearable. Those going through this dark cloud, just know that this too really shall pass." And then, "Hi Clement, thank you for the topic. I recently left a 10-year relationship. The guy doesn't want children. When we got together, we agreed that we'll have one child, but that has changed as he wants to live child-free. I'm still healing, but I'm thankful that I'm now free. During the course of our relationship, this topic remained a big elephant, and I had to self-censor so much around the dreams that I had about motherhood. Now I am free to find a partner that I can freely express the dreams and hopes I have." Oh, let me just do the last one. There are so many messages that came through. This one says, "Clement, on this topic, it opens old wounds. I divorced 45 years and I'm watching the same movie playing in my daughter's life. She's divorced 6 years ago. I adored my son-in-law. He was a son and a very caring son, and now gone. My daughter was the cause of that divorce." That's a message from Anonymous. Thank you. It's 12 minutes after 11.
Burning questions.
Insightful answers.
Listener's choice.
With Clement Manyathela.
All right, time for our Listener's Choice feature now. And today, if you are listening to Listener's Choice for the first time, Listener's Choice is an opportunity we give you as the listeners of the show to co-curate the content of the show with us. I mean, we plan the show from Monday to Friday for all the 3 hours each day. And this is an opportunity for you to tell us what you want us to talk about, because this is your show. And it could be anything. All you have to do is to send me an email on cm@702.co.za, and then we'll have that conversation and bring in the relevant guests to talk to us about that subject matter. Today, we're talking about life in the West Bank, because one of our listeners asked that we discuss what life is like in the West Bank in Palestine. And because for many Palestinians in the West Bank, their experience means navigating checkpoints, restrictions, there's economic hardship, but they're also facing the risks of displacement and violence. There's a lot of focus. We've spoken a lot about Gaza, but there's a lot happening in the West Bank as well. It may not be at the same extent or in the same way, but the people living there are facing their own challenges. So what we've done is invite Osama Nazal, who is a resident there in the West Bank. In fact, he also works as a journalist in the West Bank, who will share that experience with us. And if you've got your questions, you can call us on 011-883-0702 or send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. Osama, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Let's start maybe with just understanding the government in the West Bank. How is it set up? Is it an independent government? Is it solely on its own? Does Israel play any part, even in, like, let's say, air security? Can you just help us understand the relationship between Israel and the West Bank as things currently stand?
Yeah. First, good morning to your viewers and listeners, our friends, brothers, and sisters of South Africa. It is very important, really, not to differentiate between the occupied West Bank and Gaza Strip, as they constitute one entity of land and one people. It is all the occupied Palestinian territories, Gaza, the West Bank, and East Jerusalem. So the pain and the catastrophic conditions that our people in Gaza are going through are the same conditions that hurt and ache the people of the West Bank. But because Israel cut off the Palestinian territories, the West Bank is separated from Gaza and Jerusalem. How it is separated? It is separated through the Israeli checkpoints and the Israeli walls. So if I'm a Palestinian, if I want to visit Gaza, even before the Israeli genocide war started, it was impossible for me without having a permission from the Israeli occupation authorities in order to go through the walls and the checkpoints erected by Israel to separate the West Bank from Gaza. The same applies to Jerusalem. I'm now a few kilometers away from Jerusalem, but I can't get there because of the Israeli walls and the Israeli checkpoints. So we are talking about all of the Palestinian territories occupied since 1967 are under full Israeli control. Now, yes, there is in the West Bank the Palestinian Authority and there is the Palestinian government. But what authorities and what powers this Palestinian government has, I can say none, as the Israeli occupation are occupying all of the West Bank, carrying out incursions every night and during the daylight, attacking Palestinians, searching their homes, making their life impossible. Just an example to make things clear. If I want to move from Jenin to Ramallah, where I work, for example, I can't get to Ramallah without passing through a set of Israeli checkpoints. At these checkpoints, every Palestinian is stopped and searched and checked, and sometimes you spend 5 hours and 6 hours at the checkpoint without letting you through. So we are talking about a land under full Israeli occupation control, and the Palestinian Authority is very much weakened today, and I can say that it is just bone without the flesh.
Okay,
Ramallah, which is the seat of the Palestinian government, is also subject to the Israeli incursions and attacks.
Okay, please just let's take it slowly so that we understand, Osama. When you say that, I mean, the Palestinian Authority is in charge in the West Bank, but then you sometimes go through checkpoints that are being conducted by the Israelis. What does that mean? What authority does Israel have in conducting checkpoints and security checkpoints in the West Bank, which is under the authority of the government there led by the Palestinian Authority? So that's what I'm trying to understand, that relationship. What has the Palestinian Authority agreed to in as far as some level of cooperation or whatever it is with Israel that allows them to come and conduct those checkpoints in the West Bank?
Yes. Now, the Palestinian Authority was established in 1993 in accordance with Oslo Accord that was signed between the PLO and Israel at the lawn of the White House in the United States. And this accord, Oslo Accord, provides that the Palestinians will have a Palestinian Authority for 5 years. After 5 years, the Palestinian Authority will transform into the State of Palestine. Now, what Israel did, it allowed the Palestinian Authority to have control over the large Palestinian cities, which account for less than 18% of the West Bank, including Gaza, and without any part of East Jerusalem. But the largest area of the West Bank, which is classified as Area C, the area under the Palestinian Authority control, which is 18%, is Area A. We have Area C, which is 63% of the West Bank, which includes all the agricultural areas and the areas where we have natural resources and all the constituents of life. It remained under full Israeli occupation. In addition to Area B, which is a small area under Israeli military and security control and administrative Palestinian control. But when the 5 years ended, and at that time, late Palestinian President Yasser Arafat went to Camp David and held the negotiations with the Israeli Prime Minister at the time, Ehud Barak, and American President Clinton to end the Palestinian Authority and start the State of Palestine. Israel reneged on all that and destroyed Oslo Accord and kept the situation as it is, 18% for the Palestinians and the rest of the land for the Israelis.
Yeah.
Now, the Israeli occupation does not even recognize Area A, which is 18% of the West Bank under the PA, as Israel is practicing all its military actions in this area.
Okay, I've got some questions from our listeners, Osama. So let's start with a question on the WhatsApp line. It says, this is one from Simon who's asking, these checkpoints that you talk about, are they checkpoints to avoid terror attacks? What has been the explanation from the Israelis for how have they justified these constant checkpoints?
Our viewer needs to understand that when we talk about the West Bank and East Jerusalem, we are not talking about the existence of the Palestinian resistance. We are not talking about Gaza. And the aim of these checkpoints is just to embody and materialize the Israeli occupation and to materialize the apartheid Israeli regime in the West Bank, and to restrict the lives of the Palestinians in the West Bank and to force them to leave their homeland. That is the only objective that Israel has behind these checkpoints. We are talking about 900 Israeli checkpoints, of course. We are not talking about a small number of checkpoints, which means that Israel has one policy, ethnic cleansing, to empty the West Bank, to empty all of Palestine of its indigenous people and replace them with the Zionist settlers who kill Palestinians and set fire to Palestinian houses and the properties. And you must have heard of the Palestinian activist and teacher of English, Oda Hadalin, who was killed by an Israeli settler in Hebron in the West Bank just because he tried to prevent the bulldozer from destroying the house of his neighbor.
Okay, and then there's a question about when you talk about the Israeli settlers, what do you actually mean? Are these Israelis that have set up homes in that part of Palestine in the West Bank? Just explain that for us. And then also, if you don't mind, when there are checks that are being conducted, I once did an interview, I think about 2 years or so ago, with someone in the West Bank who said they're not even allowed to walk around with like chocolate. And I don't know if that's still the case and what reason is being given for that. I think there was an explanation that people could use, like they could use something like that, or the packaging or the actual chocolate itself to try and like manufacture a bomb or something like that. Is that really still the case? Is that the reasoning they've used? Are you aware of that? And please, can you respond to the question as well about when you talk about Israeli settlers, what are you referring to?
The Israeli settlers are the Israeli civilians who were transferred by the Israeli occupation government from Israel to live in colonial settlements built by the Israeli government on the land belonging to the Palestinian people in violation of the international law and of all the United Nations conventions that regulate the relationship between the occupied and the occupier. So these are called illegitimate and illegal Israeli settlements according to the United Nations and the international law. We are talking about the close to 800,000 Israeli settlers who live in the occupied Palestinian territory, taking the strategic areas of the West Bank, mainly the tops of the mountains, in order to look over the Palestinian villages and towns beneath, and to have control over all the roads of the West Bank. These settlers are supported by the Israeli Ministry of Finance. They are exempted from paying taxes, they are given homes, they are given jobs, and they enjoy a lot of privileges that the Israeli citizens in Tel Aviv even don't enjoy. Just to stay in the occupied Palestinian territories, and they were given hundreds of thousands of handguns and arms in order to restrict the movement of the Palestinian people, attack the Palestinian people. And I can say that every day, these Israeli settlers that we call Israeli terrorist militias attack Palestinian villages, set fire to Palestinian properties, and in certain cases, they kill Palestinians. Just 3 days ago, they stormed the village of Douma near Nablus in the north of the West Bank, and they killed a Palestinian of the Wabshi family whose relatives about 10 years ago were set on fire by an Israeli settler. In that incident, a teacher and his wife and his son were burned to death. These are the Israeli settlers. Concerning the checkpoints, they have control over the bits and details of the Palestinians' life. And they prevent the Palestinians from having access into a lot of commodities under the guise that these commodities might be used for manufacturing weapons or things like that, which of course is not true because the Palestinians don't have any infrastructure in the West Bank for armed resistance or anything of this type. But as I said before, the main aim is to convince the Palestinian citizens that they can't have life in Palestine and they have to leave.
And the thing about the checkpoints and the chocolate and whether or not that's allowed to be carried?
Sometimes, yes, even not the Israeli soldiers. Sometimes the Israeli settlers who are supported by the Israeli soldiers stop the vehicles of the Palestinian passengers and they overthrow everything these trucks and these cars have. Sometimes they search the Palestinian citizens, and if, for example, you have some money or any kind of property, they steal it. And when you file a complaint with the Israeli police, for example, they don't respond to you. They don't listen to you.
Okay, got it. So nothing specific then about what has been shared before by this person, and maybe that was their own personal experience. I've got another question here. How is your working relationship? Not even working. How's your relationship with the settlers in the West Bank? Because there are other people who are in homes, right? They're in those homes, and
yes,
you are there. It's your land. How do you then relate with them? Do you get along? And I'm not talking about the security officers here or the people who conduct the searches. I'm just talking about the people that are there, that are in there, who have occupied parts of the West Bank. Do they get along with fellow Palestinians there?
What is very special about the Israeli settlers living in the occupied Palestinian territories is that their religious and extremist background, as they are affiliated with extremist Israeli rightist parties. They are the disciples of the Israeli Minister of Home Security, Ben Gvir, and the Israeli Minister of Finance, Bezalel Smotrich. So you are talking about the Israelis who have the theocratic and the Torah thinking that the Palestinian people have no right to exist in Palestine and there is nothing called Palestine. It is all Israeli from the river to the sea and even beyond. And you must have heard of the vision of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu about the greater Israel that is going to have all of Palestine, parts of Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and Egypt, blah, blah. So these settlers have this ideology, the ideology which negates the other, which does not recognize the right of the other to exist. So it is impossible for the Palestinian people to get along with a group of people who have this fanatic and this extremist ideology that does not respect the right of the other to life. And you hear their statements every day. Just the former Israeli military official, I forgot his name, just 2 days ago stated that there must be a Nakba every some years in order to remind the Palestinian generations that Israel is the power that can crush them, that can destroy them. So this reflects the scope of ideology that these Israelis have. So it's impossible to talk with someone who does not recognize your right to life.
Yeah. Osama Nazal, journalist in the West Bank, thank you so much for joining us. It's 11:31. Bali has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Consumer price inflation has climbed to a 10-month high, putting extra pressure on household budgets. Stats SA says the rate rose to 3.5% in July, up from 3% in June. Food prices are leading the surge, with meat and vegetables as the biggest drivers. The Alexandra Magistrates Court has denied businessman Katiso KT Molefe bail for allegedly ordering a hit on musician Oupa Sefoka, popularly known as DJ Sambodi. Last month, Molefe was arrested for the DJ's murder and later linked to the 2022 murder of another musician, Hector Buthelezi, who was gunned down in Soweto. At the time, Molefe was out on bail in connection with a separate murder case. And Western Cape serious and violent crime detectives are on the hunt for a third suspect in connection with the attack on 3 DA MPs in Philippi yesterday. Police Committee Chairperson Ian Cameron, Nicholas Gotzel and Lisa Schickerling sustained injuries during an attempted hijacking yesterday. Those are the headlines this EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling on the M1 South, we've got roadworks taking place along the this route just near Carr Street. Delays coming out of Empire Road. Please be on the lookout there while traveling in Edenvale towards Bedfordview. Delays along the N12 as well as the R24 West. This is between Edenvale Road and the Gululis interchange, and that's also due to roadworks. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North as a result between Van Buren Road and the Gululis interchange. Heading towards Midrand, we've got delays on the N1 North. In fact, an accident reported near New Road. Delays coming out of Islandale Road. Please be on the lookout there. And there's also slow-moving traffic in Centurion along Old Johannesburg Road between the two highways, the N1 and the N14. So please be on the lookout there and drive with care. I'm Amo Ramela with your Eyewitness News traffic. Otherwise, Karabajali will have your next traffic update at the top of the hour onwards. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
Time for the sharing space. This is where we share our stories about things that have really happened in our lives, at work, with your family, with your friends, when you're on holiday. It really could be light, it could be serious. Some of you sometimes ask for advice when you're sharing your stories. Sometimes you're just sharing what happened. So I'm going to read an email today because we've got an email. And then at the end, if this listener is asking for some advice or they're just sharing a story, I want you to share if you've been in the same situation. Here we go. Hi, Clement and the listeners. I'm a young gay man. I've been living alone with my twin sister since we were 25. We are 30 now. Our dad bought us this house for our 25th birthday. Okay. We really enjoyed living together and we've had a lot of fun. This was until my sister got a boyfriend. At first, I really liked the boyfriend. He's funny, he was cool to hang out with. He quickly changed when my sister found out she was pregnant. He insisted on moving in with her and me by virtue of living in the same house and basically pretends like our house now belongs to him and my sister. He went as far as suggesting to my sister that they use my room for their baby's nursery. He also basically told me that I should move out of our house because it was now their home. I obviously refused to move out at first, but I'm now reconsidering my decision because this whole situation is causing a rift between my sister and I. This is breaking my heart because she is my best friend. My dad has asked us to resolve the matter among ourselves, but he has said that I should not be forced to move out. My sister is 8 months pregnant, and I don't want her child to be born into a toxic household because we don't get along anymore. And I'm just wondering if I should go. Please, can you ask the listeners what they think? Anonymous. Okay, tricky one. So, Anonymous is a young man, has been living with his twin sister since they were 25. In fact, it looks like they've lived at home, or maybe they were in varsity, because that information is not here. But when they were 25, their father bought them this house. Yeah? For their 25th birthday. They are now 30. And they've enjoyed living with each other until the other twin, the twin sister, now got a boyfriend. Now the twin sister is pregnant with that boyfriend, and the boyfriend has moved into the house that their father bought them. And the boyfriend is acting as if now this is his house, and he has asked this twin brother to move out. This is wild. Your sister must actually not even have a child with this man because, well, the child is already there, I guess. But how do you even build a life with someone like that who's going to chase your own sibling outside of their own home? But so Anonymous says the boyfriend now who's moved into their house now tells him as the twin brother that you must move out because the boyfriend wants to live with the twin sister because twin sister co-owns the house. And he says he initially said no, but he is considering moving out. Do you think that Anonymous must move out of this house? I don't think he should. In fact, this man should move out together with the twin sister. Or they must then, both of them, move out and sell this house and divide the money 50-50. But it's unacceptable that Anonymous is actually being forced to move out. And what is the sister saying about that? What's your twin sister saying about that? It's so wild. So Anonymous is wondering, should I move out? Because I don't want my twin sister's child to grow up in a toxic environment. What is your advice? 011-883-0702. I say, Anonymous, you are not going anywhere. Stay in that house. Be comfortable. That's your home that your father bought you and your sister. You need to sit down with your sister. Because if this guy can ask you to move out and the sister is okay with it, your sister is a bit of a problem too. But don't go anywhere. Stay in there. This man must be a man. Because he can make babies. Must go out there and work and get a house for his girlfriend and his baby. You sit still. And your father, I feel like your dad must play a bigger role here. It's not enough to say resolve this matter among yourselves. But don't be forced to move out. Like, come in and take charge. There's a man here who's trying to hijack your property and cause a rift among your children. It's not enough to say resolve it among yourselves. Your calls and your WhatsApps after the break. 011-883-0702. WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. It's 20 minutes before 12.
In a world where traffic is the enemy of progress, one man is in a race against time, through the noise, through the chaos, chasing something no GPS could find.
Accident detected ahead. Expect a 30-minute delay.
Not today, sweetheart. Not today. Write your own story with the Haval H7 from only $6,799 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Your art gallery is a space where creativity meets emotion. From thought-provoking exhibitions to works that inspire, they showcase talent that deserves recognition. Every visit leaves you seeing the world differently. Now's your chance to say, I see you. Vote for them as Gauteng's greatest art gallery at primemediaplus.com. Voting closes on the 27th of August. Make it count, because Gauteng isn't just the hub of business, it's the home of excellence. And excellence deserves your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko.
Dear Journal, day 4602 of trying to be an adult. My doctor asked me how my quality of rest is at the moment. I told him I have two problems. I struggle to sleep at night, but I also struggle to awake at day.
Aggressively realizing your age? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's simple and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
The 12th edition of the DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is here. Experience unbeatable vibes this heritage weekend at the Kailame Grand Prix circuit on the 20th and 21st of September. On Saturday the 20th, catch Don Toliver, Questa, Inkabi, Zwezwe, and more. Then on Sunday the 21st, don't miss the iconic Lauryn Hill on her 25th anniversary tour with special guests Wyclef Jean, YG Mali, and Zion Mali, with Lira, Mandisi Janchi, Zoe Mudicha also performing on Sunday. Tickets at Ticketmaster. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star and proudly supported by 702.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
18 minutes before 12 o'clock. Let's go straight to your calls. Colin, you're calling from the Johannesburg South. Hi.
Hi, Clement.
Sure.
You know, the times have changed. We always thought that women are gold diggers. Now we've seen a trend with men being gold diggers. And this is unacceptable. All right? This is wrong. A man should work. No man should be moving into the in-laws' house. All right? Firstly, he's not even married to this girl. How sure are we that he's going to marry her? Then you come, my father buys me a house with my twin sister, and you want to push me out of my parents' house. What kind of a man does that? Where are the extended family members? So you need to call a meeting with the extended family members. That's the first thing. The second thing needs to be resolute and strong. Be a man and say, I'm protecting my sister from it because I can see you are a gold digger and an opportunity to get one. Right? Because this guy is a scam. He sounds like a scam and he's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's not even dangerous for the lady, it's dangerous for the nation because we don't need such men in this country. Where men would not work and expect women to provide for them.
Yeah. Colin in Joburg South. Thank you. Joel, you're in Johannesburg. Hi.
Hi, Clement. He has already, the previous caller has already taken most of what I wanted to say. But I believe that the father, the one who bought the house for them, should now come in here and set the record straight. And it's just not on. The guy cannot just think that because now his girlfriend is now pregnant, now it gives him the rights and the authorities to call the shots in a house which does not even belong to him. If the complainant can move out of the house for peace sake and things like that, and it becomes more toxic. You can't trust this guy.
Yeah.
So he cannot leave his sister there and just no. He needs to get legal action. But the father is the main.
Yes, the father must play a bigger role. It's not enough to say resolve it amongst yourselves.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
He's not responsible.
Absolutely. Joel in Johannesburg, thank you. Joseph, you're in Randburg. Hi. Hi, Joseph.
Hello, sir.
Sure.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
All right, sir. I'm just saying, I think the behavior that is coming in through with that guy is unacceptable. Because he's a boyfriend and he cannot come and hijack the property from that guy. There's no way he can say, you must go out because I'm in love with your sister. If they decide to get married or to be staying together, these two must move out and leave the guy there, because the guy is a man, and he's the owner of that house. So I think I can put it that way. The guy should stay and remain at his house. The lady is married someone, must go out.
Yeah. And they're not even married. They're still boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh, let's go to your WhatsApps.
Good morning, Clement. Ngateko here. I agree with your first two responses. I disagree with the third one, where you are saying the father should step in. I think the father, as mentioned, he bought the house for them, so the house is in their name and they are adults. Possibly there are also other dynamics that we might not have information to, in him saying resolve it amongst yourself. Maybe he tried, but I think because they are adults, and also the house is in their names, it's their ownership, it is a correct response that the father gave, so that they also have responsibility, because they are entitled. It's their property. They're entitled to make that decision. I totally agree. The guy must move out with the sister, or they must buy the brother out of the house, or the house must be sold, and then they each share the profit, and then each one to their own. They go their separate ways or their own direction.
Their house. Good day, Clement. The only thing that the twin sisters should do is to sell the house, and then so that they can go their separate ways. Obviously, obviously they cannot live together because of the boyfriend, and they must just sell their house and share the money. Thanks.
Hi, Clement. It's Tutugani here from Tembisa. I'm listening to the story of Anonymous. No, this boyfriend is not a man. He should move out and take the girlfriend and the child and buy them a house, and they go and live there. How can you want to move to a house that he did not buy, that was bought by his father-in-law, of the girlfriend's father? He's crazy. He must move out to this family, go buy them a house.
Yeah. Good morning, Clement, and your listeners. Well, I hear your topic today regarding the family problems now. Listen, that house belonged to those twins and not the boyfriend. If the boyfriend wants to move in, no. He must go and get his own place and take the sister and move into their own home, wherever, I don't know. Because of if he starts doing this guy has an ulterior motive. He has an ulterior motive. At the end of the day, they're going to lose the house. The house is going to belong to this guy. So, simple thing. Tell the sister to tell the boyfriend that if they want to move in together, they must get their own flat, house, whatever. And he must not interfere in their business. This is their legacy the father has left for them. So he must just pack his bags and leave the house ASAP. Thank you very much. Peter from Atteridgeville.
It all starts with advice from FNB Private. Because the perfect overseas trip starts with planning. Save and spend in multiple currencies with your FNB Global account and lock in exchange rates. Enjoy up to 40% off flights with eBucks Travel and order Forex on the FNB app delivered to you at no extra cost. Your adventure awaits. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. TC's own rules and limits apply.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age. Or now also in a no water needed fruity flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and flemings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
At Premier Hotels and Resorts, business travelers staying alone enjoy a complimentary drink every night of their stay. So, whatever your tipple, it's on the house at any of our 24 hotels and resorts nationwide. Book today at premierhotels.co.za.
What if a few small shifts could dramatically boost retirement incomes? This Thursday on 702 Breakfast, Old Mutual Corporate will bring you more learnings shared at the recent Old Mutual Thought Leaders Forum. This time, we'll look at some of the ways employers can help improve retirement saving. We are talking real-world impact, employers' case studies, and the smart shifts that are reshaping the future of retirement. Join the conversation on Thursday, the 21st of August, brought to you by Old Mutual Corporate on 702.
The Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
9 minutes before 12 o'clock, an unbelievable story that we've been told this morning by Anonymous, who is a twin. He is a brother, has got a twin sister. They've been living together throughout. In fact, their dad, the two twins, their father bought them a house to share for their 25th birthday, and they've enjoyed staying with each other until the twin sister met a boyfriend, fell pregnant. Now that boyfriend is telling this twin brother to move out of the house because they're about to have a baby. I mean, it's so shocking that they even wanted to use this guy's room for their baby's nursery. They are so unhinged. Now, the dad has said, hey, resolve this thing among yourselves, but he's told the son that you should not be forced to move out. And yeah, the Anonymous is asking, should I just move out because I don't want this child to be born into a toxic household because, people are not getting along? What do you think?
My advice is, I think Anonymous should take the brother-in-law or the dude aside, give him a wake-up clap and tell him to get his life together and get out. Yeah, that's what I think.
Good morning, Clement. This is my advice to Anonymous. Please tell your sister and your boyfriend to move out of that house. Simple. They must move out, not the other way around. And you must blame your sister. She's the one who empowered that boyfriend. Or else she must buy you out. They must. The sister and the boyfriend. They must buy you out. Ha! Thanks, Clement.
Hi, Clement. How are you? I'm Virginia from Jabulani. Clement, this guy is selfish. He's very, very selfish and cruel at the same time. Ufuna njena ukungena njena yena, why can't he move out ayofunela umfazi wakhe indlu? And then bazovakashelana usisi wakhe uzoza azovakashela umntwana kubo. They must move out ayobuilda ifamily yakhe elsewhere. Ubuselfish bani? Ila madoda la bathanda ukwenza izinto, bathanda izinto easy. Yeah, so utholi opportunity manje yokuthi azocabanisa labantwana laba. Lo baba lo naye must stand up for abantwana bakhe. Angeke azotshela abantwana bakhe ukuthi bona they must solve the problem yena njengoba abathengele indlu labantwana laba. Obathengele indlu ukuthi abantwana babe comfortable, babe happy. So lona uyafika njena uzobhidliza i-happiness yama twins makahamba yofuna indlu yakhe. Then build the family elsewhere. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Clement. This is Rose speaking. I think shame Anonymous is in a tough situation. I think I'm okay with the father not getting involved because they are adults now. I am a bit concerned also about what the sister is saying, what the twin sister is saying. But otherwise, I think the boyfriend should perhaps buy him out. If they really want him to move out that much, the boyfriend must give Anonymous 50% of the value of the house, and then he can move out and go start his own house somewhere. But yeah, shame. I do respect him wanting the baby to be born in a peaceful home. But yeah, that's my take on it. Rose here. Thank you.
Hi, Clement, Evelyn here. Honestly, I would not move out of the house because both my twin sister and I did not even pay for this house. It was a gift. It was given to us. So there's no way I would leave the house and excuse myself, because what could even happen is this guy would probably persuade my sister to change the ownership or stuff like that. You know what? No, it is just a big no for me. No, Anonymous, do not move out.
Hi, Clement. This is Bitumelo from Midrand, your attorney. No. I think the brother must not move out of this house to accommodate this man who's using his sister for accommodation. Hell no. I also hold, honestly, the sister accountable because she needs to move out and start her own family elsewhere because this house should remain a family home for the brother and for her. So as for this man, he must just leave in G. He has the energy to make children. But where's the responsibility to build a house for them? And then one more last thing. Your father should intervene together with the family elder if possible. They need to set the clear rules and enforce strict boundaries in this house. You ain't going nowhere, Anonymous. You are staying in your house. It's your house. It's your home. He must be the one moving out.
Yeah. And if you want us to come protest there outside the house, Anonymous, as you can hear, you've got lots of supporters. We will come in toy. You're not moving out there. This guy has got the energy to have a baby, must go have the energy to work and provide for that baby and get a home for the baby and this woman. And I'm sorry, I hear what you're saying about the dad, and you're probably right that maybe he's tried, but I just feel like the dad needs to step up here. You don't just walk away and say, hey, I've tried, yeah, you guys resolve it among yourself. This is their property. There's a guy who's about to engineer a heist here. And you can't step back as a dad and say, well, as children, sort it among yourselves. Anonymous, you're not going anywhere. It's 3 minutes before 12.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Politics of entitlement. One of the things that apartheid did for this country, the legacy of apartheid continues to live amongst us. Apartheid spatial planning, which was never changed, it created mind divisions that said to us, these are our type of jobs. The taxi industry belongs to these guys. Rugby belongs to these guys. We need to understand that when we say we want change in any situation, that there is going to be a fight.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Okay, truck 7 at zero warning lights, struck 8. It's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without My Way's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, brings the spirit of Ubuntu to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from the 29th to the 31st of August. Experience thrilling track drives, 4x4 adventures, drifting, supercar hot laps, and F1 demos. Get your tickets on Howler and use the promo code RADIO for a special discount. The Festival of Motoring, the power of new.
Coming up
on the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
How are you doing, Mandy Wiener?
I'm good, thanks to you.
Good. What's popping today?
So two teenagers have been arrested following this attack on the DA MPs in Philippi. We'll speak to one of the MPs involved in that incident. The murder accused, Katie Molefe, has been denied bail, so he'll remain behind bars. I'm sure there'll be a high court approach for bail there. Inflation numbers are out. The family braai has become more expensive, 3.5%. And then the Madlanga Commission is set to start on the 1st of September. So we've got some clearer parameters, some concern around those as well.
That's the Midday Report. Up next with Mandy Wiener. Thank you for listening to the Wednesday edition of the show. We'll be back tomorrow between 9 and 12. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Consumer price inflation has climbed to a 10-month high, putting extra pressure on household budgets. Stats SA says the rate rose to 3.5% in July, up from 3% in June. Food prices are leading the surge, with meat and vegetables as the biggest drivers. Mongezi Gogo reports.
Inflation is creeping up again, and much of it is coming from what we eat. Meat prices, especially beef, have shot up more than 10% over the past year. If you